Chapter 1384. A Bunch of Trash. You call yourselves the elites of the Yin-Yang Sacred Hall. How are you going to revive the Yin-Yang Sacred Hall if you can't even deal with an 8th level Nirvana stage heaven-reaching beast? An old man slowly walked out. However, his voice was that of an old woman's. Elder Chen, that heaven-reaching beast seems to have the ability to break through the void. The hole it left behind is over there. One of the Yin-Yang people pointed forward. Break through the void? The old man's eyes lit up. He was immediately interested. Then, they arrived at the void door. This was the void door that Yi Xian had opened in advance. His purpose was to lure the old man through. How mysterious. This heaven-reaching beast actually has such a skill. Why haven't I heard of it before? The old man walked up to the void door in astonishment and examined it. However, at this moment, the 3 7th level Nirvana stage Yin-Yang people behind him suddenly attacked at the same time. Boom! 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 The three of them attacked with all their might and directly knocked the old man into the void door. At the same time, the void door closed instantly. The old man was shocked. He didn't understand why he was ambushed. Furthermore, where was this? Before he could react, a golden figure flashed from the side. 9 flash reincarnation. 4th flash. Rip! The old man's head flew up with a crisp sound. At the same time, Yi Xian, who was not far away, heard a system notification sound. Ding! The host's killing intent has increased. Yi Xian was very satisfied with the killing intent of an 8th level Nirvana stage martial artist. Yi Xian wasn't confident that he could defeat Luo Luo when they were at the same level. Now that Luo Luo was 1 level higher than him, he naturally let Luo Luo do it. After accepting the special level-up mission, Yi Xian knew that he had to rely on Wei Zhentian and Luo Luo. At that moment, Yi Xian quickly rushed over and picked up the universe ring to check. There are actually 2 10,000 beasts' flames. Yi Xian was a little surprised. However, the 10,000 beasts' flames were not very useful to him at his current level. Luo Luo had also merged with 1 10,000 beasts' flames, but it had no effect. As for the old tree, it could be used, but he did not know if it would be effective. Yi Xian gave one of the myriad beast flames to the old tree. As for the other one, he kept it for himself. Then, Yi Xian asked those people to continue luring monsters out for Luo Luo to deal with. The 9 flashes of samsara consumed a lot of vital energy, but ever since Yi Xian and Luo Luo shared the immortal phoenix bloodline, Luo Luo could use it whenever she wanted. Soon, the remaining 2 elders were lured out by the same method and then killed. Now, only the 9th level Nirvana stage expert and Song Sui Jing were left in the valley. As long as he lured this 9th level Nirvana stage expert away, Yi Xian would be able to rescue Song Sui Jing and Song Caijue. However, according to these Yin-Yang people, Song Sui Jing and Song Caijue had tried to escape countless times, but none of them succeeded. One of the reasons was because of Temple Master Chui's tight guard. Go, lure him out again. Yi Xian directly gave the orders to the Yin-Yang people through the air. As for him, he quietly waited. After a while, a 7th level Nirvana stage Yin-Yang person came back to report. Master, Temple Master Chui has not left. The Yin-Yang person said to Yi Xian. Hearing this, Yi Xian frowned and said, What reason did you use? We used the reason that the 3 elders went out and have not returned yet. We suspected that they were swallowed by a powerful sky-connecting beast, but Temple Master Chui did not agree and stayed inside. The Yin-Yang person replied. Is that so? Yi Xian was silent. Temple Master Chui was at the peak of the 9th level Nirvana stage, only 1 step away from immortality. Now, he was probably refining the Dragon Phoenix Flame, trying to break through to the immortality stage. In addition, he was guarding Song Sui Jing and Song Caijue. This was his master's order. As long as the array was not broken, he would not leave. It seemed that he had to find another way. Temple Master Chui is at the peak of the 9th level Nirvana stage. I don't have the ability to resist him. Wei Zhentian is also close to breaking through to the 8th level Nirvana stage. Yi Xian thought and asked in his mind, Luo Luo, when will you be able to break through with those treasures? Now, it will probably take a day, unless there is a relatively high-ranked mysterious flame. Luo Luo replied. A day. Then, Yi Xian would wait for a day. As long as Luo Luo broke through to the 7th level Nirvana stage, she would be able to fight against a 9th level Nirvana stage expert. Even though they had the advantage in numbers, the difference in strength between these 14 7th-level Nirvana stage Yin-Yang beings and Hallmaster Cui was too great. Yi Xian still remembered that Gui Yurong had used the icebound flame to kill those elders. A peak 9th-level Nirvana stage expert could not be underestimated. In order to find Song Suijing and Song Caijue, Yi Xian had been searching for nearly 3 years. Now that he had finally found them, one more day would not make a difference. However, Yi Xian was not worried about this, but about the Yin-Yang ancestor. The Yin-Yang ancestor seems to be still far away. Don't worry. Yi Xian thought in his heart. He was afraid that the Yin-Yang ancestor would suddenly turn back and catch them off guard while Luo was cultivating. Fortunately, there was a death warrant, which allowed Yi Xian to accurately grasp the Yin-Yang ancestor's location. Caijue, just wait for a day and I will rescue you. Yi Xian thought in his heart. Time slowly passed. However, after half a day, Yi Xian, who was quietly waiting, suddenly blinked and shouted in a low voice. Not good, the Yin-Yang ancestor has begun to turn back. Fortunately, the Yin-Yang ancestor would turn back after half a day, which meant that he would need another day and a half to rush back. After half a day, Luo had already broken through to the 7th-level Nirvana stage. As long as they could rescue Caijue and Song Caijue, they would immediately leave. All in all, the Yin-Yang ancestor was only 1 day away. Of course, as long as they left, it would not be just 1 day away. Yi Xian prayed in his heart, hoping that the rescue would be successful and that nothing would go wrong. Soon, another half a day passed. Ding! Luo has broken through to the 7th-level Nirvana stage. The long-awaited system notification finally sounded. Luo had broken through to the 7th-level Nirvana stage and had the strength to contend with a peak 9th-level Nirvana stage expert. Young master, I broke through. Luo's excited voice rang in Yi Xian's mind. The reason why Yi Xian worked so hard was because of Song Suijing and Song Caijue. How could Luo not know this? Speaking of which, she had not met Song Suijing yet. After all, she had only formed a contract with Yi Xian after Song Suijing had been captured. Chapter 1385. That Yin-Yang patriarch will take about a day to arrive. Let's go. Yi Xian said impatiently. He had already mastered the method to enter the valley, so he swaggered in with a heavenquake sword in hand. Whoosh! An entrance appeared in the formation, and Yi Xian walked in. The yuan qi of heaven and earth in the valley was very abundant. It was very suitable for cultivation, even surpassing the cultivation space. However, Yi Xian's attention had already landed on the figure in the distance. The valley was quite large, but Temple Master Cui was a 9th-level Nirvana realm expert, so his spiritual consciousness could cover the entire valley. Yi Xian was discovered by Temple Master Cui as soon as he stepped in. After all, Yi Xian was a stranger. However, Temple Master Cui did not act immediately because there were other people in the valley. However, he did not expect the 14 7th-level Nirvana realm Yin-Yang patriarch guards to be indifferent. Instead, they followed behind Yi Xian and walked towards him. Have they betrayed us? Temple Master Cui immediately reacted. At this moment, he recalled the 3 elders at the 8th level of the rebirth realm that had gone missing yesterday. I'm afraid they've already perished. No matter who they are, anyone who dares to step into Master's place of seclusion will be sentenced to death. Temple Master Cui's eyes flickered with murderous intent. He was Yin-Yang Patriarch's disciple and also the second Temple Master of Yin-Yang Temple. His strength was second only to Yin-Yang Patriarch. He and his sister were originally from a small village, and the strongest person in the village was not even at the manifestation realm. Later on, Yin-Yang Patriarch found them and said that they had the perfect Yin-Yang twin physique, so he brought them back to nurture them. After hundreds of years, they finally broke through to the peak of the 9th-level Nirvana realm. Their fusion rate was even higher than Yin-Yang Patriarch's, reaching 95%. In terms of strength, he was much stronger than Yin-Yang Patriarch back then. By the time his aura spread out, Yi Xian had already walked in front of him. Who are you? Temple Master Cui looked at the stranger Yi Xian and could not help but ask. Your Yin-Yang temple has already been destroyed. Yin-Yang people are like rats crossing the street. Does it matter who I am? Yi Xian replied coldly. Although the plan was to rescue the siblings, Song Suijing and Song Jejue, he couldn't say his purpose. It would only make the other party take precautions. I see. Hall Master Chui's eyes narrowed as the woman within his body spoke abruptly. A mere 14 pieces of trash at the 7th level of the rebirth stage, and you? Could it be that you want to injure me? We'll only know after we fight. Yi Xian's eyes suddenly brightened. He raised his hand and swung his sword. Killing intent explosion. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. A golden flame dragon roared out. At the same time, the 14 7th level Nirvana stage Yin Yang beings also attacked with their full strength. Trash will always be trash. Dang! Hall Master Chui shouted. Without even moving his feet, he flicked his finger and shot out more than 10 sharp lights. Xiao! 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 These rays of light instantly pierced through the chests of the group of Yin Yang people. Not only that, but also Yi Xian's group. Unfortunately, Yi Xian's heart wasn't a vital part. Even if he was shredded into pieces, he wouldn't die. Just as he attacked, a beautiful figure appeared in the air. It was Luo Luo. 9 Reincarnation Flash. Luo Luo turned into a stream of light and swooped down. What? Hall Master Chui was a little surprised. Under the cover of his spiritual sense, he had only discovered the 15 people in Yi Xian's group. Why was there another one now? Xiao! Hall Master Chui had no choice but to dodge this fatal blow. 9 Reincarnation Flash. Second Flash. When Luolua's feet landed on the ground, she attacked Hall Master Chui again. 9 Reincarnation Flash. Each flash faster than the last. How many times could Hall Master Chui dodge? Xiao! After all, Hall Master Chui was an expert at the peak of the 9th level of the Nirvana realm. He wouldn't die under the second flash. After dodging this attack, he threw out a punch straight at Luolua's face. Although Luoluo had the immortal phoenix bloodline, she didn't have the Eye of Eternity. Even if she did, her head would probably explode if this punch hit her. Fortunately, Luoluo also relied on speed to survive. 9 Reincarnation Flash. Third Flash. Luoluo turned into a stream of light again and dodged this punch. While Luoluo and Hall Master Chui were fighting, Yi Xian reminded Luoluo in his heart. Then, his gaze fell on the residence in front of him. A defensive formation was set up outside this residence. Not only did it block out spiritual sense, but even Yi Xian's eye of revelation couldn't see through it. It must have been set up by the Yin Yang ancestor. However, Yi Xian had a special skill to break through formations. Eye of Destruction. Eye of Destruction. Eye of Destruction. Yi Xian consecutively shot out 3 Eye of Destruction and bombarded the defensive formation. Immediately, a small hole was broken in the formation, but it was quickly repaired. It's effective. Yi Xian's eyes lit up. He raised his hand and used the combination of the unparalleled Flame Dragon Slash and the Eye of Destruction. Now that his killing intent had exploded, he had already advanced once, and the killing intent that erupted had increased, which made his attack power very strong. At the same time, the sound of him attacking the defensive formation also fell into the ears of the 2 people inside the formation. Who is attacking the formation? Song Suijing and Song Caijue glanced at each other in astonishment. They had been captured for nearly 3 years and had broken through to the 7th level of the Nirvana realm. However, this was the first time they encountered danger. Of course, they did not know that the Yin Yang temple had been destroyed. They also did not know that the Yin Yang ancestor had gone out to investigate the destruction of the Yin Yang temple. They also did not know that the person breaking the formation was Yi Xian. On the other side, Temple Master Chui was shocked to see that Yi Xian was not only not dead, but also breaking the formation. Just as he raised his hand and was about to blast Yi Xian into pieces, Luo Luo made another move. However, this time, it was not the 4th flash of Samsara, but the Eye of Enchantment. When the pink eyeball formed above Luo Luo's head, Temple Master Chui could not help but tremble. This time, Luo Luo did not use the Eye of Enchantment to charm him. Instead, she used another ability. Bewitching Technique. The Bewitching Technique was specially used to deal with Yin Yang people. When Luo Luo was at the 4th level of the Nirvana realm, she had used the Bewitching Technique on Gui Yurong, who was at the 6th level of the Nirvana realm. Now that she was at the 7th level of the Nirvana realm, she could naturally affect Temple Master Chui, who was at the peak of the 9th level of the Nirvana realm. Furthermore, the Bewitching Technique was cast through the Eye of Enchantment, which greatly increased its effect. Temple Master Chui instantly fell into an illusion. Not good. When Temple Master Cui saw the scene in front of him, his expression changed greatly. Yin Yang people generally had a stronger soul. Since Temple Master Cui was the older brother, he stole some of his younger sister's soul. He resisted the bewitching technique, but his younger sister did not. Once the Yin Yang people who had fused broke the rules, they would be in danger of disintegration. Chapter 1386. Sister, wake up! Temple Master Cui shouted angrily. However, Luo Luo had already arrived. 9 Reincarnation Flash. 4th Flash. Luo Luo had already arrived in front of Temple Master Cui. However, Temple Master Cui's spiritual consciousness was still working, so he instinctively raised his hand to block it. Rip! A crisp sound was heard as Temple Master Cui's right hand was thrown into the air. Seeing this, Yi Xian, who was on the other side, immediately stopped breaking the formation. Then, he used the power of the Eye of Myriad Forms to quickly pull the severed hand over. The interspatial ring was taken by him. This universe ring contained a large amount of heavenly and earthly treasures, but they weren't very useful to Yi Xian right now. His attention was completely focused on a strange flame. The Dragon Phoenix Flame. Ding! Host has devoured the Dragon Phoenix Flame. Ding! Host has broken through to the 6th level of Nirvana stage. Ding! Host has completed the special level-up mission. The Peerless Flaming Dragon Slash has advanced to the Peerless Flaming Dragon Slash. 3 system prompts in a row caused Yi Xian to be stunned. The Peerless Flaming Dragon Slash had advanced once. The Peerless Flaming Dragon Slash sounded more powerful than the Peerless Flaming Dragon Slash. At the same time, this was Mo Shui's ultimate move when he was at his peak. It was also a growing divine ability. Haha! Yi Xian could not help but laugh in his heart. He directly devoured all the ores and weapons in Temple Master Cui's interspatial ring. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through to the 8th level of Nirvana stage. Ding! Host has reached the peak of the 6th level of Nirvana stage. 2 more system notifications rang out. However, at this moment, Yi Xian did not have time to think about what kind of mystical flame was needed to break through to the 7th level of Nirvana stage. Wei Zhentian, go help Luo Luo. Yi Xian immediately ordered Wei Zhentian. However, he was rejected by Luo Luo. Young master, there's no need, Luo Luo suddenly said, which stunned Yi Xian. In the next moment, he saw Temple Master Cui's head being thrown into the air. 9 Reincarnation Flash. 5th Flash. This time, after Luo Luo had broken through from the 6th to the 7th level of the Nirvana stage, she had already mastered the 5th flash of the 9 Reincarnation Flash. Earlier on, Yi Xian thought that Luo Luo had mastered the 4th flash, which was why he asked Wei Zhentian to help. Unexpectedly, the battle was already over. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. This system notification proved that Hall Master Cui was already dead. An expert at the peak of the 9th level of the Nirvana stage was dead. Putong! Hall Master Cui's eyes widened. He opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but he was already powerless. The head and corpse fell to the ground, releasing 2 sounds. Apart from this, there was no other sound. Yi Xian looked at Hall Master Cui's corpse and immediately reacted. He turned around and attacked the array. Killing intent explosion. Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. Eye of Destruction. This time, Yi Xian directly broke a large hole in the formation. Then, Yi Xian quickly rushed in. When the 2 people inside saw who it was, they raised their eyebrows. Blonde hair, golden eyes. Who is this? Looking at the astonished and vigilant gazes of Song Suijing and Song Caijue, the corners of Yi Xian's eyes couldn't help but become moist. He directly returned to his original appearance and said, Suijing, I'm here. Previously, in order to avoid being wanted, he had been changing his appearance. Now, he finally restored his original appearance. Yi Xian? After seeing this familiar face, Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song were completely shocked. Yi Xian, what's going on, Yi Xian? They thought he was an enemy of the Yin Yang ancestor, but they didn't expect it to be an old friend. No wonder when they saw Yi Xian, they felt that Yi Xian was somewhat familiar. However, they couldn't pinpoint what was familiar about him. So that was it. Yi Xian. Song Suijing's tears that had been accumulating for 3 years gushed out crazily. She directly fell into Yi Xian's arms. Sorry, I'm late. Yi Xian stroked Song Suijing's back with one hand and stroked her hair with the other. He felt very guilty. I knew you would come. Song Suijing was already choked with sobs. 3 years. The two had been separated for 3 years. Moreover, she was kidnapped by the Yin ancestor on the day of her wedding. Haha, I knew you would come. Adjudicator Song couldn't help but go over and give Yi Xian a punch. Oh, be gentle. My cultivation is not as high as yours. Yi Xian said with some pain. At this time, Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song finally reacted. Yi Xian was only at the 6th level of Nirvana Realm. Outside this array, there was a peak 9th level Nirvana Realm Hall Master Chui guarding it. Moreover, this array was personally arranged by the Yin ancestor. How did Yi Xian come in? Don't worry. Hall Master Chui has been killed. Come. Yi Xian understood the doubt on their faces. He raised his hand and swung his sword, once again creating a hole in the formation. He couldn't completely destroy this array, but by relying on the Eye of Annihilation, he could temporarily break a hole, which was enough. Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song saw the light of day again under the leadership of Yi Xian. They had been locked in this residence for more than half a year, and now they were finally out. Then, the smell of blood drifted over. Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song both turned their heads and saw the headless corpse not far away, as well as the 14 Yin ancestors who died with their hearts pierced. Could it be that these were all killed by Yi Xian? No, there was still someone around. They focused their eyes and found a petite and cute little girl from the Fox clan. At this time, the latter was looking at them with a smile, looking harmless. They would never have thought that the peak 9th level Nirvana Realm Hall Master Chui was killed by this cute little girl. Hello, young mistress. Luo jumped over with a smile and greeted respectfully. Let me introduce you to my younger sister Luo, Yi Xian said, then turned his head and said, You don't have to say much about these two people, right? Yes. Luo nodded obediently. She had been with Yi Xian for nearly 3 years. How could she not know what Yi Xian was looking for? Song Suijing was also a little confused. When did Yi Xian have a younger sister? Moreover, she was from the Fox clan. There's no time to explain so much. This is not the place to talk. Let's go first, Yi Xian said. His eyes flickered a few times, and a void door opened immediately. Then, Song Suijing and the others, who had just escaped, passed through. This place was near the Earth Fiend Island, and it was a distance away from the Yin Temple. Even the immortal stage Yin ancestor would need at least 3 days to come here. Moreover, the Yin ancestor would only arrive at the valley a day later. At that time, he would find that Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song had been rescued. Most importantly, he would not be able to find them. Now that Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song had been successfully rescued, Yi Xian directly opened up a cave residence for them to video call with their family in the Eastern Continent. Chapter 1387. Yi Xian had exchanged some recording crystals in the market. First, he would record the video and place it in the devouring space. Then, his second avatar in the Eastern Continent would take it out. If his family wanted to speak, he would record it and send it here through the devouring space. Although it was a little troublesome, there was no other way. After all, the two sacred lands were very far apart. Last time, Yi Xian's original body and avatar were able to return to the Eastern Continent because he committed suicide and used 2 devouring points to revive himself. Now, he was bringing along Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song. He was afraid that he couldn't return to the Eastern Continent. Therefore, they had to go out and look for the Trans-Realm Transmission Array to return to the Penglai Sacred Land. As long as they could return to the Penglai Sacred Land, it would be much easier to return to the Eastern Continent. After not seeing each other for 2 to 3 years, everyone had a lot to talk about. They chatted for an entire day. Luo, Guan Yulan, Yi Chong, and the others were very familiar with each other. Yi Chong and his wife had long treated Luo as their own daughter. After a day of chatting, Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song also got to know Luo, the old tree, and Wei Zhentian. They also understood that Yi Xian had come from the Eastern Continent and experienced many dangers. Very quickly, a day had passed. Previously, Yi Xian was anxious to find them. He was afraid that the siblings would be merged. Now, he didn't need to worry about this problem because they had been rescued. However, the problem wasn't completely solved. If the Yin-Yang old ancestor found out that they had returned to the eastern continent, Lianyun City would definitely suffer a devastating blow. Therefore, Yi Xian must kill the Yin-Yang old ancestor to prevent future troubles. At the same time, the Yin-Yang old ancestor might know the location of the trans-realm transmission array to the Penglai sacred land. If possible, it would save a lot of trouble if he directly asked. However, Yi Xian reckoned that the Yin-Yang old ancestor wouldn't say anything unless he was controlled by him. However, if one wanted to control an immortal stage-old monster, one wouldn't be able to do so without reaching the 9th level of the Nirvana realm. It wasn't that easy for Yi Xian to break through to the 9th level of the Nirvana realm. Luo Luo was currently at the 7th level of the Nirvana realm. She would need at least 2 days to break through to the 8th level of the Nirvana realm. As for the 9th level of the Nirvana realm, she would need at least 10 days if she didn't have a higher grade treasure. Fortunately, there was no need for them to be in such a hurry. After all, Yi Xian had placed a death warrant on Patriarch Yin Yang. Patriarch Yin Yang would definitely die in 10 days. 10 days later, they would return to the Penglai sacred land. However, just as Yi Xian was thinking this, he suddenly realized something. The Yin Yang ancestor paused in the valley for a moment before heading straight for them. What? Yi Xian was a little shocked. Could it be that Patriarch Yin Yang was just guessing? They were in the southwest of the valley. It would take about 2 days for the Yin Yang ancestor to arrive. However, the Yin Yang ancestor was too lucky. What's wrong? Song Sui Jing, who was nestled in Yi Xian's arms, asked strangely. She heard Yi Xian's heartbeat was a little hurried. It seemed that something had happened. For some reason, Yi Xian suddenly had an ominous premonition in his heart, which caused his heartbeat to accelerate. After hearing Song Sui Jing's question, he replied, "Nothing, let's go somewhere else." Go somewhere else? Not far away. Judge Song heard this and said in surprise, "Yes, let's go." Yi Xian nodded and immediately broke through the void, leading Song Sui Jing and Judge Song into it. This time, they directly returned to the landing point of the cross-realm transmission array. Strictly speaking, this place was in the southeast of the valley, which was about 3 days away. Song Sui Jing and Judge Song looked at each other and suddenly felt that something was wrong. However, they saw that Yi Xian seemed to be thinking about something, so they didn't disturb him. After a while, Yi Xian, who was standing quietly, suddenly widened his eyes. He sensed that one of the targets of the death hunting command was rushing towards him. They're changing directions again. Patriarch Yin Yang can sense where we are. Yi Xian was shocked and immediately asked, "That Yin Yang old ancestor has been chasing us." Hearing this, Song Sui Jing and Judge Song were also shocked. They finally got out of this predicament with great difficulty. Could it be that they were going to be caught? Although they didn't know how Yi Xian knew about it, they trusted Yi Xian very much. Yi Xian must be right. Not good. That old monster must have left a tracking mark in our body. Why can't I find it? Judge Song reacted. I didn't feel anything, but after all, he's in the immortal realm. His means are not something we can imagine. Song Sui Jing also frowned and turned to Yi Xian. Yi Xian, what should we do now? Don't be afraid. If I want to, he won't be able to catch up. Yi Xian hurriedly comforted her. As soon as these words came out, Song Sui Jing and Judge Song also remembered that Yi Xian had a divine ability that could allow him to leave through space. It was simply a fantasy for the Yin Yang old ancestor to catch up to them, unless Yi Xian ignored the distance, but such a thing would never happen. That old monster is 3 days away from us. When the distance is shortened to 2 days, we will break through space again. Then he will have run for nothing. Yi Xian thought in his heart. Unless the Yin Yang old ancestor set up an ambush in the void, it was absolutely impossible to catch him. Moreover, the void wouldn't leave a trace, so how would the Yin Yang old ancestor know the location of the void? Therefore, the Yin Yang old ancestor had been doing a useless thing. This Yin Yang old ancestor doesn't know that I saved Judge Sui Jing and Judge Song. He only thinks that I destroyed the Yin Yang temple and took them hostage. Yi Xian continued to think. But at this time, he suddenly sensed that the Yin Yang old ancestor stopped and then turned around and rushed to the north. Not chasing. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. If that was the case, he would be relieved. However, Song Sui Jing and Judge Song had the perfect Yin Yang twin physique. If they fused, their fusion rate would reach 100%. One must know that the Yin-Yang Old Ancestors' fusion rate was 90%, while their disciple Temple Master Chui's fusion rate was 95%. Song Sui Jing and Judge Song's fusion rate was 100%, which was the true perfection. Therefore, Yi Xian guessed that the Yin-Yang Old Ancestor wouldn't give up on Song Sui Jing and Judge Song. After all, this pair of old monsters had searched for more than 200 years before they found the Eastern continent. At this time, Yi Xian's eyes suddenly flashed. He suddenly remembered the circumstances of his death. Nalan Bing wanted his people, regardless of whether they were dead or alive. It was obvious that she had the ability to search his soul. Moreover, that evil god cult leader Shi Juin also seemed to have such a method. What if the Yin-Yang Old Ancestor also had such a method? Chapter 1388. Not good. I recovered my true identity after seeing Adjudicator and Adjudicator. If the Yin-Yang Ancestor has the ability to search my soul, he will definitely remember that I am that scum from the Eastern continent. This is bad. Yi Xian's body trembled, and his face was filled with horror. If that was the case, the Yin-Yang Ancestor would know that he was the one who saved Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song, and not the enemy. Then, the Yin-Yang Ancestor might be preparing to kill his way to the Eastern continent and capture all of Yi Xian's friends and family. Or kill them all. Thinking of this, Yi Xian panicked. It seemed that he could not hide anymore. He had to delay the Yin-Yang Ancestor. At that moment, he told the situation to Song Sui Jing, Adjudicator Song, and Luo Luo. After listening, they began to make suggestions. 2 days, Luo Luo still needed 2 days to break through, so they had to delay the Yin-Yang Ancestor for 2 days. Only when Luo Luo broke through would she have the ability to kill the Yin-Yang Ancestor. Luo Luo, you break through as soon as possible. I will delay that old monster. After Yi Xian finished speaking to Luo Luo, he once again broke through the void and returned to the mountain valley. Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song also followed him through the void. The mountain valley was only half a day's journey away from the Yin-Yang Ancestor. Not long after they landed, the Yin-Yang Ancestor really changed his path and rushed towards them. Yi Xian, I have heard of the fire cloud flame that you need. There is a burning cloud sect in the west of the Yin-Yang Temple. The sect master of the Burning Cloud sect has a fire cloud flame. The sect master of the Burning Cloud sect is a 9th level Nirvana realm expert. At this moment, Song Sui Jing suddenly reminded him. Hearing this, Yi Xian's eyes lit up. The fire cloud flame was the heavenly flame that he needed. If he wanted to break through from the peak of the 6th level to the 7th level of the Nirvana realm, he needed this fire cloud flame. Yi Xian quickly took out the map and carefully calculated in his heart. He found that there was enough time. All right, we will leave when the Yin-Yang Ancestor arrives. Yi Xian nodded. It would not be easy to delay Old Ancestor Yin-Yang for 2 days. Therefore, he had to face Old Ancestor Yin-Yang personally to prevent Old Ancestor Yin-Yang from returning to Penglai. However, Yi Xian suddenly thought of something. Even if the Yin-Yang patriarchs were to return to the Penglai sacred land now, they would not have enough time. This was because Yi Xian still had an avatar in the Eastern continent. As for Luo Luo, as Yi Xian's physical body, she could appear at any time. By the time Patriarch Yin-Yang arrived at the Eastern continent, Luo Luo had already broken through to the 8th level of the Nirvana realm. However, this could easily lead to a crisis. If Luo Luo was no match for Old Ancestor Yin-Yang, or if he had other tricks up his sleeve, it would be troublesome. Therefore, this section of the road was used as a buffer. Yi Xian tried his best to prevent the Yin-Yang patriarchs from going to the Penglai sacred land. Soon, half a day had passed. Yi Xian carefully sensed Old Ancestor Yin-Yang's distance. Just as Old Ancestor Yin-Yang was about to arrive at the valley, he roared at the sky. Ha 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 ha, you old monster. You would never have thought that the second Tribulation Supreme would have grown to the point where he could kill your eldest disciple. If you have the guts, come and kill me. As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Xian and the other two had already passed through the void door and arrived at the ruins of the Yin-Yang sacred palace. 3 seconds later, Old Ancestor Yin-Yang arrived at his place of seclusion. At the same time, he heard the voice that was still echoing. It's really you, you piece of trash. Old Ancestor Yin-Yang immediately recognized this voice. He had heard this voice before. He really did not expect Yi Xian to break through to the Nirvana realm from the Second Tribulation Supreme in 3 years. This was impossible. One should know that when he broke through to the Nirvana realm, He was already close to 100 years old. Then, he broke through to the immortality realm after a few hundred years. After that, he wanted to find a perfect yin and yang dual constitution to fulfill his wish. As long as a pair of perfect yin and yang dual constitution could fuse, the fusion rate would be 100%. With a 100% fusion rate, the cultivation speed of the sacred yin-yang technique would be several times faster than him. Then, it would not be impossible for him to break through to the rebirth realm in his lifetime. In order to make Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song compromise, he had threatened and tempted them countless times. However, the two siblings were resolute. They threatened that if old ancestor Yin-yang dared to touch their family, they would definitely commit suicide. Even if they succeeded in fusing, they would also commit suicide. That was why old ancestor Yin-yang did not touch the people from the eastern continent. Old ancestor Yin-yang thought that he had spent more than 200 years looking for people. Now, only 2 years had passed. What was the difference? He wanted to slowly wear down Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song's patience. However, he did not expect that the Yin-yang Sacred Palace would suffer such a devastating blow. Even Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song were rescued. Of course, he would not link the destruction of the Yin-yang Sacred Palace to Yi Xian. This was because Yi Xian was only at the Nirvana realm. The person who destroyed the Yin-yang Sacred Palace was at least at the Immortality Realm level 2 or even level 3. However, Yi Xian dared to rescue Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song, which had successfully angered him. That trash, I'll definitely skin him alive and pull out his tendons. This is the Yin-yang Sacred Palace. Chase. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue cursed angrily. Their figures flashed. His valley was only half a day's journey away from the Yin-yang Sacred Palace. However, he was afraid that Yi Xian would leave again. He did not know whether Yi Xian's space-piercing divine ability had a limit. If there was, then he could catch Yi Xian. If there was no limit, then it would be a little tricky. Whether there was a limit or not, he had to wait and see. When the Yin-yang ancestor was rushing towards the Yin-yang Sacred Palace, Yi Xian had already arrived at the palace. He was about half a day's distance away from the Yin-yang ancestor. However, half a day was not enough to travel from the Yin-yang Sacred Palace to the Burning Cloud sect. Therefore, Yi Xian had to split up. His original body led Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song to avoid the pursuit. As for his clone, he rushed to the Burning Cloud sect. This way they could at most jump one more time. Immediately they moved. Yi Xian's original body used Shadow Escape to escape in another direction. As for his clone, he also used Shadow Escape to head for the Burning Cloud sect. Luo was still cultivating in the planting space. As long as she broke through, the Yin-yang ancestor would be dead. Of course, if Yi Xian broke through to the Nirvana realm level 7, he would have a better chance. Because Yi Xian's original body was also leading Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song, the Yin-yang ancestor still could not catch up to him after half a day. Yi Xian estimated the distance and once again flew to the side of his clone. Merge. When his original body and clone merged, his battle strength suddenly increased by 60%. At this moment, he was still half a day's journey away from the Yin-yang ancestor. However, he only needed an hour to arrive at the Burning Cloud sect. It's almost time. When the Yin-yang ancestor finds us, Luo will break through. The corners of Yi Xian's mouth slightly curled up, as if victory was in sight. Chapter 1389. However, Yi Xian still had to pray that the sect master of the Burning Cloud sect did not refine the fire cloud flame. The sect master of the Burning Cloud sect was at the 9th level of the Nirvana realm, while Hall Master Cui was at the peak of the 9th level. The former had the fire cloud flame, while the latter had the Dragon Phoenix flame. Even Hall Master Cui failed to refine the Dragon Phoenix flame, and the fire cloud flame was ranked higher than the Dragon Phoenix flame. The sect master of the Burning Cloud sect, who was slightly weaker than Hall Master Cui, should have failed to refine the fire cloud flame. An hour later, Yi Xian saw the Burning Cloud sect built in a blazing valley. The people of the Burning Cloud sect mainly cultivated the flame divine ability, and their battle strength was extremely strong. Yi Xian was at the 6th level of the Nirvana realm, and his aptitude was not bad. Any random elite from the Burning Cloud sect had a higher cultivation than him. However, Yi Xian swaggered along with Song Sui Jing and Song Jeju to the entrance of the Burning Cloud sect. Who are you? The guarding disciple of the Burning Cloud sect furiously shouted. Yi Xian did not say anything and restrained the two of them. He then used his manifestation force to take off their interspatial rings and rushed into the Burning Cloud sect. Intruder! Seeing an unknown intruder, the disciples of the Burning Cloud sect jumped out one after another to block the intruder. However, Yi Xian, who possessed the Eye of Control, seized all of these people and plundered their belongings. Even the elders of the 7th level of the Nirvana realm did the same. Relying on the Eye of Control, he quickly found the location of the Burning Cloud sect master and rushed over. Along the way, he suddenly swept his gaze and saw some special people. Yin Yang people? Yi Xian was slightly astonished. He actually saw some Yin Yang people in the Burning Cloud sect. However, these Yin Yang people had been captured and imprisoned. Their bodies were riddled with scars and some of their organs had been removed. There was even someone whipping a Yin Yang person in the distance. After the destruction of the Yin Yang temple, the once arrogant and despotic Yin Yang people had become street rats. If they were exposed, they would be caught and used to vent their anger. In broad daylight, a dignified sect actually abused people like this. This sect style was not good. Sect leader of Burning Cloud sect, get the hell out here. Yi Xian suddenly roared at the sky. Even though he who held the Skyquake sword was only at the peak of the 6th level of the Nirvana stage, his current combat strength was sufficient to battle a 9th level Nirvana stage expert. Not to mention that even Hall Master Cui, who was at the peak of the 9th level of the Rebirth stage, had died at Luolua's hands. After a few days of cultivation, Luolua's strength had become even stronger. Nobody below immortal level would be able to withstand Luoluo's attack. Yi Xian's roar was deafening as it reverberated throughout the entire valley. Very soon, a few 8th level Nirvana realm elders jumped out and blew their beards, wanting to beat up Yi Xian. Whoever blocks me will die. Yi Xian reminded him. But no one listened to what he, who was merely at the 6th level of the Rebirth realm, said. Brat, you're courting death. An 8th level Nirvana stage Burning Cloud sect elder attacked Yi Xian. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. You overestimate yourself. Yi Xian snorted coldly and drew his sword. Killing intent eruption. Peerless flaming dragon slash. This move was sufficient to annihilate a 9th level Nirvana stage expert. A golden flame dragon that was even more powerful than the previous one appeared. In the blink of an eye, it swallowed the 8th level Nirvana stage elder. The golden flame dragon whizzed past, leaving behind only a Chen Kuan ring and a weapon. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. A system notification sounded out. An 8th level Nirvana stage elder was instantly killed by Yi Xian. When this scene entered the ears of everyone, it caused them to be shocked to the point of being speechless. There were geniuses in the Burning Cloud sect that could surpass levels to challenge others, but there wasn't a single person that could surpass 2 levels to challenge others, let alone instantly kill someone that was 2 levels higher than them. Was Yi Xian really only at the 6th level of the Rebirth stage? Yi Xian, who was only at the 6th level of the Rebirth stage, possessed such strength. Then, could it be that the 2 7th level Nirvana stage martial artists behind Yi Xian were even stronger? After seeing this, the rest of the elders were also stunned for a second before attacking at the same time. A total of 3 8th level Nirvana stage elders attacked Yi Xian. Since you're courting death, then don't blame me. Yi Xian's eyes flickered as he attacked again. Killing intent explosion. Peerless flaming dragon slash. Another golden flaming dragon attacked. In addition, this time, even Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song attacked. Icefire Yin Yang sword. Slash. Icefire Yin Yang sword. Slash. Although the 2 siblings were only at the 7th level of the Nirvana stage, the Yin Yang old ancestor had given them a lot of good things, so it was nothing to them to challenge those who were 1 level higher. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Rip. Crack. The 3 8th level Nirvana stage elders died in different ways. The 2 who were killed by Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song were cut into 2 halves. Half of their bodies were incinerated, while the other half was frozen into an ice sculpture. Their wounds were sealed by ice, so no blood flowed out. The most miserable one was the elder who was incinerated by the golden flaming dragon. After his death, not even his corpse was left behind. He was directly turned into ashes. After their deaths, Yi Xian quickly took their interspatial rings and began to plunder the interspatial rings of the people around him. Ah, my interspatial ring. No, that's all I have. Where's the sect leader? Why hasn't he come out yet? If he doesn't come out, we'll all die. The 4 great elders have all fallen. Even if the sect leader comes out, he won't stand a chance. Screams resounded one after another. Due to the prestige just now, no one dared to disobey Yi Xian's trio. After all, even the 8th level Nirvana stage elders were killed in seconds. If they dared to resist, only death would await them. Although Yi Xian was not lacking in cultivation resources, Wei Zhentian was lacking in them. Ding! Wei Zhentian has made a breakthrough. He is currently at the 9th level of Nirvana stage. After a round of plundering, Yi Xian heard the system notification that Wei Zhentian had finally made a breakthrough. At the same time, a white figure swept out from the depths of the valley. It was a white-clothed middle-aged man. Who dares to be so presumptuous in my Burning Cloud sect? The white-clothed middle-aged man yelled furiously. He was the sect leader of the Burning Cloud sect. The sect leader is here. The sect leader is finally here. Sect leader, please avenge us. Sect leader, the 4 great elders are dead. They were killed by the 3 of them. After seeing the white-clothed middle-aged man, the morale of the group of disciples soared as if they had seen the dawn of hope. However, Yi Xian did not care about it at all. He only raised his eyebrows slightly. The sect leader of the Burning Cloud sect's aura is only slightly weaker than Hall Master Cui, who is at the peak of the 9th level of Nirvana stage. It seems like he has also made a breakthrough to the peak of the 9th level of Nirvana stage. Yi Xian thought to himself. However, he did not see the mysterious flame in the sect leader of the Burning Cloud sect. He only saw the ordinary Nirvana flame. Chapter 1390. Hand over the fire cloud flame and I'll spare your life. Yi Xian said coldly. This kid actually knows that I have the fire cloud flame? The sect master of the Burning Cloud sect trembled and shouted furiously. Who are you? How dare you kill an elder of my Burning Cloud sect? I'll give you 3 seconds to consider. After 3 seconds, I'll make my move. Yi Xian didn't want to say anything and just stood there. Even if there was a difference of 3 realms between them, he wasn't afraid of the other party. The sect master of the Burning Cloud sect didn't know where Yi Xian came from, nor did he know where Yi Xian picked up the courage to actually ask him to hand over the fire cloud flame. He was really courting death. Even if he could instantly kill 4 elders at the 8th level of the Nirvana stage, so what? Kid, you're courting death. The sect master of the Burning Cloud sect immediately made his decision. In less than a second, he made his move. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Yi Xian's eyes flickered as he directly made his move. Killing intent explosion. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. Icefire Yin Yang sword. Icefire Yin Yang sword. Yi Xian and the other 2 cooperated and their attack power was extremely terrifying. Even though the sect master of the Burning Cloud sect was at the peak of the 9th level of the Nirvana stage, he actually couldn't withstand this round of attack and was instantly blasted away. However, it wasn't over yet. Whoosh! At the same time, the 9th level of the Nirvana stage Wei Zhentian suddenly tore through the sky and instantly pierced the sect master of the Burning Cloud sect's heart. What surprised Yi Xian was that the system notification didn't sound out. F***CK, the heart is on the right side? Yi Xian's brows raised. He actually saw this when he used the Eye of Revelation earlier, but he was paying attention to the mysterious flame at that time, so he didn't react for a moment. He didn't expect that the sect master of the Burning Cloud sect was actually an anomaly. His heart was actually on the right side. However, so what? Just as the sect master of the Burning Cloud sect was astonished and revealed a terrified expression, a sharp spike suddenly grew out of Wei Zhentian's sword. Swish! This sharp spike pierced the sect master of the Burning Cloud sect's heart on the right side. Countless small spikes grew out of it, even pierced the heart's heart. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. This system notification proved that the sect master of the Burning Cloud sect had died. Yi Xian immediately rushed over and collected the corpse of the sect leader of Burning Cloud sect and the interspatial ring. Everyone looked at Yi Xian. They were so shocked that they couldn't speak. Not only were the 4 elders killed in an instant, even the sect leader, who was at the peak of the Nirvana realm, was killed in an instant. Who were these 3 people? Which of the surrounding forces could nurture such a genius? Even if the Yin Yang temple hadn't been destroyed, they wouldn't have been able to do it. Under the astonished gazes of these people, Yi Xian found the fire cloud flame in the interspatial ring of the sect master of the Burning Cloud sect and swallowed it. Ding! Host has devoured the fire cloud flame. Ding! Host has broken through to the 7th level of Nirvana stage. Ding! Host has completed the special leveling up mission. Reward: Assassin's Eye is upgraded once. In an instant, Yi Xian's aura skyrocketed. The Assassin's Eye only requires a large amount of killing intent. There is no limit to the number of times it can be used. What effect will there be after the upgrade? Yi Xian was a little surprised. Could it be that the upgrade would increase the range of the Assassin's Eye? If that was the case, it would be a little too useless. After he saw the effect of the upgraded Assassin's Eye, his eyes couldn't help but light up. The upgraded Assassin's Eye didn't increase the range of the skill. Instead, it increased the attack power of the first attack after using the Assassin's Eye. 30%. Yi Xian was very satisfied with the upgrade this time. It seemed that he didn't make a mistake in accepting the special leveling up mission. Then, he swallowed the heaven and earth treasures that he had accumulated previously. Ding! Host has reached the peak of the 7th level of Nirvana stage. Another system notification sounded. Yi Xian also saw the item that he needed to break through to the 8th level of Nirvana stage. 9 Nether Wind Flame. Yi Xian just took note of the name and ignored it. The 9 Nether Wind Flame was very powerful. He should be able to obtain information about it nearby. However, it wasn't the time to look for it now. The Burning Cloud sect is disbanded today. Get lost. Yi Xian's voice fell into everyone's ears. Domineering. Extremely domineering. However, he had domineering strength. After all, he killed the sect leader of the Burning Cloud sect, who was at the peak of the 9th level of Nirvana stage. Even if everyone present joined forces, they wouldn't be a match for him. If anyone is still here in 3 seconds, I will turn him into a corpse. Yi Xian said to the group of Burning Cloud sect disciples who were astonished. Once these words were spoken, the 1,000+ Burning Cloud sect disciples dispersed in an uproar, and all of them flew outside. However, those Yin-Yang people couldn't escape because they were imprisoned. Wei Zhentian, set them free. Yi Xian said to Wei Zhentian. Whoosh! Wei Zhentian turned into a stream of light and swept out. After a few crisp sounds, those Yin-Yang people's heads were chopped off. Next, Yi Xian quietly waited for the arrival of the Yin-Yang Old Ancestor in the Burning Cloud sect. Yi Xian was ready for a big battle. The Yin-Yang Old Ancestor knew about the Eastern Continent. If he wasn't killed, the Eastern Continent would be massacred. Therefore he must die. Ding! Luo Luo has broken through. She is currently at the 8th level of Nirvana stage. A system notification interrupted Yi Xian, who was thinking with his eyes closed. Luo Luo had finally broken through to the 8th level of Nirvana stage. This way, they would have more confidence in fighting against the Yin-Yang Old Ancestor. Yi Xian turned his head and saw that the Yin-Yang Old Ancestor's speed had increased a lot. He estimated that they would arrive at the Burning Cloud sect in less than half a day. Wei Zhentian of the 9th level of Nirvana stage, Luo Luo of the 8th level of Nirvana stage, Yi Xian of the 7th level of Nirvana stage, and Old Tree of the 7th level of Nirvana stage were Yi Xian's current team. Although Song Suijing and Judge Song were also at the 7th level of Nirvana stage, they didn't have the ability to protect themselves. It would be a tragedy if the Yin-Yang Old Ancestor became flustered and exasperated and dragged them down with him. Moreover, Yi Xian had a 90% chance of winning this battle because Wei Zhentian had yet to use the Blade Storm. If Wei Zhentian of the 9th level of Nirvana stage used the Blade Storm, he would be able to deal with the Yin-Yang Old Ancestor. At that time, Luo Luo and Yi Xian would launch a sneak attack. They would have a 90% chance of winning, or even a 100% chance of winning. In less than half a day, Yi Xian sensed the powerful aura. The Yin-Yang Old Ancestor had finally arrived. Ha ha ha, stinking brat, you have nowhere to run this time, right? A burst of strange laughter came from afar. Then, a young man in a red and blue robe appeared in front of Yi Xian. At this moment, Yi Xian was already prepared. Yin-Yang Old Ancestor, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Yi Xian slowly stood up. You were waiting for us? Chapter 1391. Lu Wenxing thought that Yi Xian was waiting for death because he could no longer use his teleportation skill. He did not expect that he was waiting for him. That's right. Yi Xian nodded. Lu Wenxing was too lazy to care so much. He looked at Song Suijing and Song Caijue who were behind Yi Xian. Two ungrateful wretches. I have trained you for 3 years. How dare you betray me? Lu Wanyue shouted angrily. You old witch. It was clearly you who forcefully abducted us siblings, and now we're the ones who betrayed you? Song Caijue stepped forward and questioned. Humph. Lu Wenxing snorted and did not speak. He had tried to erase or seal the memories of Song Suijing and Song Caijue, but he did not know why he always failed. If he had succeeded, Song Suijing and Song Caijue would have broken through to Nirvana LV9. Brat, are you related to the person who destroyed the Yinyang temple? Lu Wanyue asked. Yes. Hearing this, Yi Xian directly nodded and said, if you want to blame someone, blame yourselves for provoking the wrong person. The branch hall on the other side of the Unisea Sea region actually robbed a pair of reincarnator siblings. Along the way, a longevity stage powerhouse rescued them. At the same time, they conveniently destroyed your Yinyang Saint Hall. What? Lu Wenxing and Lu Wanyue shuddered when they heard this. Reincarnator? A reincarnator was at least a rebirth state powerhouse in his previous life. This was the realm after the immortal level. The two of them had cultivated for more than 800 years and were only at LV1 of the immortal level. Not to mention a rebirth state powerhouse, they were ants in front of a LV3 or 4 immortal level powerhouse. They did not expect that they would provoke a reincarnator. Then, they could not blame anyone for the destruction of the temple. Who are they? Although he could not afford to provoke them, Lu Wenxing could not help but ask. Nailan Bing and Nailan Jie. They are known as the Xianming Duo. Yi Xian slowly replied. The Xianming Duo. Lu Wanyue and Lu Wenxing remembered this name. Although they might not be able to take revenge, they had to use revenge to motivate themselves. Perhaps, they would encounter a fortuitous encounter before their end and break through to the rebirth state? Good. Although you are not the one who destroyed the temple, you will definitely die today. After Lu Wenxing finished speaking, Lu Wanyue spoke again. Boy, do you have any last words? I don't have any last words. I just want to ask a question. Yi Xian replied. Yes. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wanyue said in unison, their voices filled with sarcasm. How did you go to the Penglai Divine Land? Yi Xian went straight to the point. Now that he had saved Song Suijing and Song Caijue, he only needed to kill the Yinyang Old Ancestor to return to Penglai. If the Yinyang Old Ancestor told them the location of the Trans-Realm Teleportation Array, it would save them a lot of effort. I see. You still want to go back to the Penglai Divine Land? Lu Wenxing narrowed his eyes and said, there is no harm in telling you. There is a Lu family in the north of the Yinyang Temple. They control a one-way teleportation array. I came to the Penglai Divine Land from that array. The Lu family. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. He knew that the Yinyang ancestor's surname was Lu. The elder brother was called Lu Wenxing and the younger sister was called Lu Wanyue. Then, was the Yinyang ancestor related to the Lu family? Yi Xian was not interested in this question. Since he knew the location of the teleportation array, the next step was to kill the Yinyang ancestor. Boy, from your eyes, are you thinking of killing me with your 7th level Nirvana realm cultivation? Lu Wenxing sneered. A 7th level Nirvana realm cultivator was just an ant in his eyes. However, he was concerned about the fox girl. She did not seem to be nearby. That fox girl could even kill his first disciple. One had to know that the fox girl was only at the 7th level Nirvana realm at that time. Let's see if I can kill you or not. Yi Xian slightly raised the corner of his mouth. He was ready for battle. As long as they killed the Yinyang ancestor, they could go home. You too, I will give you a chance. As long as you are willing to cooperate, I will spare his life. What do you think? Lu Wanyue suddenly glanced at Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song. Unexpectedly, Adjudicator Song cursed. Go to hell, you old witch. You will have a good time later. How dare you? Fine, after I kill this boy, I will let you know what it means to respect your teacher. Lu Wanyue was furious. However, at this moment, the sky suddenly darkened. Dark night sky curtain. Whoosh! Wei Zhentian took the initiative to attack. He turned into a stream of light and swept toward the Yinyang ancestor. At the same time, Yi Xian also exchanged for a 7th level Nirvana realm burning sky pill and swallowed it. Come! Yi Xian held the scarlet flame sword and fiercely slashed at the Yinyang ancestor. Killing intent explosion. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. A golden flame dragon suddenly attacked. This time, Xian did not use the unparalleled flame dragon slash, but the ordinary unparalleled flame dragon slash. He wanted to pretend that he was very weak. This way, the Yin-Yang ancestor would lower his guard and they would have a higher chance of winning. In this battle, one of them must fall. Every bit of assurance was very important. You have some ability, but you are too naive if you think that you can contend against us with just this. Lu Wenxing coldly snorted. A ball of nirvana fire suddenly appeared in his hands. No, this was not nirvana fire, but an exotic flame. Fire cloud flame? Xian was shocked. Due to the suppression of the realm, his insightful eye could not see through the Yin-Yang ancestor's body. This fire cloud flame was different from the one he obtained from the sect leader of the Burning Cloud sect. This fire cloud flame was no longer an exotic flame, but a fire cloud flame that had been refined into nirvana fire. This meant that the Yin-Yang ancestor's attack would be very powerful. The Yin-Yang ancestor used the fire cloud flame to set up a flame barrier. The golden flame dragon instantly collapsed when it hit the barrier. Not only that, but even Wei Zhentian could not pierce through the fire cloud flame barrier. It didn't burn to ashes? This weapon is not bad. Lu Wenxing coldly sneered, slightly surprised. The fire cloud flame could burn a 5th-level divine artifact into ashes, but Wei Zhentian did not. This was inevitable because Wei Zhentian had the immortal phoenix bloodline now, so his resistance to fire was extremely high. How could an exotic flame burn him? However, the Yin-Yang ancestor did not take it seriously, and the latter allowed it to attack. I will give you one more chance. As long as you obey me, I will not kill him. I can even train him like how I train you, Lu Wenxing said. Chapter 1392. Of course, Xian's aptitude was also very good. It was very rare for a 7th-level Nirvana Realm martial artist to be able to display a 9th-level Nirvana Realm martial artist's combat strength. Even in the entire Lu family, he was rare. Unfortunately, he did not know how many trump cards Xian had. Do you think you're the only one with the fire cloud flame? Xian's lips curled up slightly. He opened his left hand, and another orange cloud flame appeared. It was the fire cloud flame. What? Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue were shocked. Why did Xian also have the 88th ranked exceptional flame, the fire cloud flame? They knew that the Burning Cloud sect had a fire cloud flame. After all, the sect leader of the Burning Cloud sect was related to the Lu family. That fire cloud flame was given by the Lu family. However, why did Xian also have it? They could accurately sense that this fire cloud flame had been refined. It was nirvana fire, not an exceptional flame. They did not know that Xian had merged with many exceptional flames before this. The exceptional flame ranking was based on a certain ranking. If one refined an exceptional flame that was ranked high, then the exceptional flames that were refined before would be overshadowed. Therefore, the effects of the exceptional flames like the eternal earth core fire and the ice ceiling flame were overshadowed by the fire cloud flame. You two old monsters, try this move again. At this moment, Xian suddenly attacked. Killing intent explosion. Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. Last time, the Peerless Flame Dragon Slash only used his true chi and all creation's force. This time, he added the fire cloud flame. In addition, there was the addition of the immortal phoenix bloodline's flame power. This attack was not weak. If it hit a peak 9th level Nirvana Realm martial artist, it would be enough to kill him. However, this was nothing to the Yin-Yang ancestor, who was in the longevity realm. Rumble. The golden flame dragon still hit the fire cloud flame barrier of the Yin-Yang ancestor. With a rumble, the golden flame dragon and the fire cloud flame barrier disappeared together. Xian broke the Yin-Yang ancestor's defense. Even the Yin-Yang ancestor was shocked by this scene. Is this really the offensive strength of a martial artist at the 7th level of the rebirth realm? This brat. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue were extremely shocked as they whispered in their minds. In less than 3 years, Xian had broken through to the 7th level of the Nirvana realm from the 2nd Tribulation Supreme Realm. This was truly inconceivable. From the 2nd Tribulation Supreme Realm to the 9th Tribulation Supreme Realm, after the Supreme Realm came the 3 minor disasters of the Supreme Realm, followed by the Manifestation Realm, Nether Passage Realm, Fulfillment Realm, Fragmentation Realm, and finally the Nirvana Realm. Song Suijing and Judge Song were carefully nurtured by him, a longevity realm expert, yet they were only at the 7th level of Nirvana Realm. Yi Xian had roamed the world on his own, but he had actually managed to reach this level in just 3 years. This was impossible. There must be a secret on this kid. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue thought to themselves. Because of this, they no longer wanted to kill Yi Xian. They were prepared to capture Yi Xian and dig out the secret behind Yi Xian's rapid breakthrough. Since this brat doesn't understand, then let's do it. Lu Wenxing said inwardly. Okay, big brother. Lu Wenyue replied. In the next moment, their figures flashed and turned into streams of light that swept toward Yi Xian. Next, they were going to use their full strength. The time has come. Come on. Yi Xian's eyes widened when he saw this. Wei Zhentian, who was at the 9th level of Nirvana realm, instantly turned into thousands of blood swords and attacked the Yin-Yang patriarchs. Not only that, but Luo Luo also appeared at this moment. Eye of Enchantment. Bewitching Technique. A pink eyeball appeared and stared at the Yin-Yang patriarchs. Luo Luo was at the 8th level of Nirvana realm, which was only 2 levels lower than the Yin-Yang patriarchs. After using the Eye of Enchantment, she could use the bewitching technique to affect the Yin-Yang patriarchs. In addition, there was also Yi Xian's soul attack. What? The Yin-Yang patriarchs, who were charging down, were horrified. How could they, who were at the longevity realm, be affected by an illusion? Moreover, it was an illusion that could cause them to break their precepts. No, wake up immediately. Lu Wenxing's eyes widened. In the blink of an eye, he broke the illusion of the bewitching technique. However, Lu Wenyue, whose soul power was weaker, was still immersed in the illusion. This brat, how dare he think of such a thing? Dang! Lu Wenxing was furious. Fortunately, the two of them shared the same body. Although Lu Wenyue was in the illusion, Lu Wenxing was not. The bewitching technique was specially used to restrain the Yin-Yang patriarchs. Just now, Lu Wenxing had wanted to capture Yi Xian. However, in order to protect himself, he could only kill Luo Luo, who had appeared out of nowhere. Dang! Lu Wenxing roared in his heart. His right hand struck out with a flaming palm. This palm was the longevity superpower. Coupled with the effect of the fire cloud flame, even an elite at the 1st level of longevity realm would die if they were not careful, let alone Luo Luo, who was only at the 8th level of Nirvana realm. However, just as the palm was about to hit Luo Luo, she suddenly disappeared into thin air. Bang! Although the flaming palm did not hit Luo Luo, it destroyed the Eye of Enchantment. At the same time, Lu Wenxing felt a chill on his back. Assassination Eye. Killing Intent Explosion. Unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash. This time, Yi Xian was serious. The Assassination Eye had been upgraded once. After using it, the power of the first attack would increase by 30%. Coupled with the unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash, even the Yin-Yang Patriarch would not be able to block it. Although the Yin-Yang Patriarch was an elite of the longevity realm, he did not know how Yi Xian had gotten behind him. However, he did not have time to think about it because the giant golden flaming dragon had swallowed him up. The unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash was Mo Xue's ultimate move. Originally, Yi Xian would not have been able to comprehend it so quickly. This time, with the help of Luo Luo, he was able to advance in advance. Yi Xian used 1/5 of his qi to use the unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash. The ordinary unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash only used 1/20th of its qi. The consumption of qi was 4 times that of the unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash, but its power was probably more than 4 times. Whoosh! Whoosh! The Yin-Yang Patriarch was swallowed up by the golden flaming dragon. No, he was not swallowed up. Instead, he was cleverly stuck in the golden flaming dragon's bloody mouth and kept retreating. The speed of a longevity realm elite is indeed fast. Wei Zhentian. Yi Xian quickly shouted in his mind. Wei Zhentian had already gotten behind the Yin-Yang Patriarch, and thousands of blood swords swept out like a storm. Kid, don't underestimate me. Lu Wenxing shouted angrily. Then, he suddenly burst out with a strong burst of qi, and actually shook off the unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash and Sword Storm. This is... Yi Xian's eyes flashed. An longevity realm elite had a lifespan of at least 1,000 years, but some people had very short lifespans. Why? Because when one reached the longevity realm, they could freely burn their lifespan to fight. Just now, Lu Wenxing had burned his limited lifespan to increase the strength of his qi. However, in order to block this move, He had consumed 10 years of his lifespan. Chapter 1393. Yi Xian had long heard of the power of immortal-level powerhouses. People of this level were very difficult to kill because all of them could burn their lifespan to fight. If it was a battle of life and death, both sides would have to burn their lifespan. As time passed, their lifespan would continue to decrease. Even if the winner won, his lifespan would be greatly reduced. Therefore, immortal-level powerhouses would have a slightly better temper. They would try to restrain themselves because once they fought, both sides would suffer. There were almost no immortal-level powerhouses who could live to the end of their lifespan. When they reached the immortal level, they would more or less burn their lifespan to fight. This was also the reason why Yi Xian was fully prepared. Let's see if you have more lifespan or I have more vital energy. Yi Xian's eyes flickered as he attacked again. Killing intent explosion. Matchless flame dragon slash. Another huge golden flame dragon swept out. Scatter. Lu Wenxing did not have time to feel sorry for his lifespan and punched again. Just now, he was ambushed and could not react in time, so he burned his lifespan to resist. This time, he only used his full strength. Rumble. In an instant, the golden flame dragon was blasted apart. However, at this moment, Luo appeared again and used the bewitching art on Lu Wenxing. In addition, Yi Xian was also constantly using the Eye of the Soul and the bewitching art. Under continuous attacks, Lu Wenyu finally had some problems. Oh no, my body is beginning to reject it. It will disintegrate in a while. Lu Wenxing's expression changed greatly. He did not expect that he would be played like this by a few Nirvana realm brats. This was really unbelievable. At this moment, he scanned with his spiritual sense and suddenly thought of a way. Kidnap song Sui Jing or adjudicator song. Humph. Yi Xian noticed the look in his eyes and slashed out again. Killing intent explosion. Matchless flame dragon slash. Before Patriarch Yin Yang could turn around, the golden flame dragon had already attacked. He had to raise his hand to defend. Rumble. The golden flame dragon was defeated, but at the moment when the golden flame dragon dissipated, a golden slash suddenly struck out. Bang! The flame barrier on Patriarch Yin Yang's body suddenly collapsed. On the other side, the blade storm attacked again. You annoying fellow, turn into ashes for me. Patriarch Yin Yang shouted and slapped the sword group again. This time, he burned his lifespan, which was extremely powerful. However, just as the giant flaming palm smashed onto the heaven-shaking sword, Yi Xian's figure suddenly flashed and once again circled behind ancestor Yin Yang. This time, Yi Xian drew his bow with both hands. Killing intent explosion. Matchless flame dragon slash. Flame cloud palm. Hearing the howling wind behind him, old ancestor Yin Yang's face darkened. This time he couldn't escape. Rumble. Patriarch Yin Yang was sent flying. He could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale. Actually, Yi Xian could have suppressed ancestor Yin Yang from the very beginning and not given him any chance to attack. Why? Song Sui Jing and adjudicator Song had been kidnapped for nearly 3 years. Although they had been rescued, what about the interest for the past 3 years? Killing Patriarch Yin Yang like this would be letting him off too easily. Therefore, Yi Xian wanted to see them disintegrate. Patriarch Yin Yang had been together for more than 800 years and had never disintegrated. If they were disintegrated by Yi Xian, would they collapse? Charm. Bewitching heart technique. On the other side, Luo continued her soul attack. First, she used charm to weaken the opponent's soul. Then, she used bewitching heart technique to trap Lu Wenyue in an illusion. If she had attacked, Patriarch Yin Yang would have been dead. Lu Wenxing, who was sent flying, finally understood Yi Xian's plan. Sensing his sister's condition, he finally panicked. No, you can't do this. Lu Wenxing exclaimed. You can kidnap my wife on my wedding day. Why can't I do the same? Yi Xian sneered and attacked again. Killing intent explosion. Matchless flame dragon slash. Fire cloud palm. Patriarch Yin Yang could not dodge and was forced to burn his lifespan to block the attack. He had already burned decades of his lifespan. He estimated that he only had about 200 years left. Now, he only had a little more than 100 years left. He would die in a while. However, It was not certain if he could hold on until his lifespan ran out. While Patriarch Yin was at a disadvantage, Yi Xian immediately followed up with another attack. Patriarch Yin was completely helpless. Due to the bewitching heart technique, Patriarch Yin body had also undergone some changes. His vital energy flow had slowed by at least 30%, and he was already showing signs of disintegration. No, no! Lu Wenxing shouted angrily. However, Lu Wenyue was still trapped in the illusion. After the yin and yang merged, the merged person's soul strength would be greatly weakened and added to the main body. Lu Wenyue had not woken up ever since she fell into the illusion. At this time, she was already with Lu Wenxing in the illusion. No, sister, stop! Lu Wenxing shouted in his heart. However, Lu Wenyue was still trapped in the illusion and could not extricate herself. At this time, a figure had grown out of Lu Wenxing's back. It was Lu Wenyue, who was about to split. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Xian immediately increased his attacks. He did not want to kill Patriarch Yin, but he wanted to see the look of despair on Patriarch Yin face. Patriarch Yin's lifespan was also decreasing. Soon, his lifespan had decreased to less than 100 years. At this time, Yi Xian suddenly used the Eye of Assassination again and appeared behind Patriarch Yin. Then, he threw a punch. Bam! Patriarch Yin was sent flying again. However, this time, his clothes suddenly tore apart as he was sent flying. Disintegration. Sui Jing Luoluo, close your eyes and don't look. Yi Xian hurriedly reminded them. Even if he did not say that, the two ladies would not want to look. Fortunately, only Patriarch Yin's clothes tore apart. It was Lu Wenyue who was exposed, not Lu Wenxing. When a yin and yang person disintegrated, their cultivation level would drop. At this time, Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue had already fallen to the 9th level of the Nirvana stage. If Yi Xian wanted to kill them now, it would be a piece of cake. This is impossible. This is impossible. Lu Wenxing roared at the sky. After being fused for more than 800 years, they had actually disintegrated today. This was too much for him to bear. On the other side, Lu Wenyue was limp on the ground. Although she had disintegrated, she was still in the illusion. Her hands were roaming around her body, and she would occasionally make a sound. Seeing this, Yi Xian's eyes flashed. The two in front of him were old monsters who had lived for hundreds of years. Yi Xian naturally had no interest in their bodies. Chapter 1394. Yin Yang Patriarch, you deserve this. Yi Xian slowly walked over. You will die a horrible death. Lu Wenxing turned his head angrily and said through gritted teeth. I don't know how I will die, but I know that you will die soon. After Yi Xian finished speaking, his eyes flickered twice. Ding! Control successful. Ding! Control successful. 2 system notifications rang out. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue, whose soul strength had greatly decreased, were directly controlled by Yi Xian. Greetings, Master. Then, Lu Wenyue also woke up. Then, she and Lu Wenxing knelt down and kowtowed respectfully. It was hard to imagine that the two arrogant people who wanted Yi Xian to surrender were now kneeling on the ground and kowtowing to Yi Xian. This change was too fast for ordinary people to accept. Haha, these two old monsters deserve this. Songju walked over with large strides. He knew that the two of them were already under Yi Xian's control. He immediately grabbed Lu Wenxing's collar and slapped him a few times. Lu Wenxing's face was red and his head was buzzing. He was also venting his anger from the past 2 years. After all, on Yi Xian's wedding day, he was also marrying a wife. They were together. Sui Jing, do you want to? Yi Xian suddenly turned his head and asked. No need. It's enough to see you again. Song Sui Jing shook his head and glanced at the naked Lu Wenyue in disgust. Okay. Yi Xian nodded slightly. His eyes flashed as he took the interspatial ring from Lu Wenxing's hand. At the same time, he asked a few questions. This battle was already over. Old ancestor Yin Yang would definitely die in the end, but he was still of some use to them. For example, did he know about the 9 nether wind flame? Was it true that the Lu family had a cross-realm teleportation array to the Penglai Divine Land? In addition, there was one thing that Yi Xian was more interested in. Soul-searching divine ability. Yi Xian asked the Yin Yang Patriarch to write down this divine ability, then he copied it. Ding. Soul-searching divine ability successfully copied. Ding. Soul-searching divine ability can be perfectly combined with Eye of the Soul. Do you want to proceed? This system notification was beyond Yi Xian's expectations. Yes. He immediately answered in his mind. Ding. Fusion. Ding. Host has learned Eye of the divine ability. Yi Xian also did not expect that. He immediately used his Eye of the Soul on Lu Wenxing. Furthermore, the immortal divine phoenix bloodline wouldn't be able to quickly recover its eye power. Yi Xian didn't even need a few seconds before he felt his eyes ache. However, in those few seconds he found something interesting. He found a treasure map in the Yin-Yang Patriarch's interspatial ring. Yi Xian murmured. He turned his head and asked, "Where did this come from?" "I obtained it by chance when I was in my 50s. After hundreds of years of searching, I can only find one." Lu Wenxing replied. "Forget it." Yi Xian ignored him and threw it into the devouring space. The Yin-Yang Patriarch had been searching for this heavenly treasure map for hundreds of years, but he could not find any clues. However, this treasure map was called the Heavenly Treasure Map. It was beyond Yi Xian's expectations. If it was not an exaggeration, then it was a real treasure. Letting them die like this will not relieve my hatred. Sui Jing. Luoluo. Stay away. At this moment, Yi Xian suddenly said. Hearing this, Song Suijing and Luoluo looked at each other. It seemed that Yi Xian was going to do something that was not suitable for children. The two girls obediently left, followed by Wei Zhentian. As for Judge Song, he wanted to see what Yi Xian was going to do. "Brother-in-law, what are you going to do?" Judge Song curiously asked. The corner of Yi Xian's mouth revealed an evil smile, but he didn't answer this question. His eyes flickered twice. Bewitching heart art. Bewitching heart art. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue, who were only at the 9th level of Nirvana realm, suddenly fell into an illusion. Judge Song already knew what was going to happen next. Fuck, brother-in-law, your taste is really heavy. They are more than 1,600 years old. Judge Song couldn't help but ridicule. However, before his voice fell, Yi Xian turned around and left step by step. As for Judge Song, after glancing at Yi Xian, he also decided to stay and watch. Who was the one with a heavy taste? However, Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue had trapped Judge Song and Song Suijing for nearly 3 years. Every day, in addition to cultivation, they were also instilled with thoughts. If not for the fact that he couldn't beat them, Judge Song would have chopped them down with his axe. Now, there was a good opportunity for revenge. How could he let it go? A few seconds later, Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue couldn't stand it anymore and began some kind of inappropriate activity. Pa! 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 A crisp sound echoed. Judge Song shrunk his neck and turned around to follow Yi Xian. However, after 5 seconds. Fuck! It's over in 5 seconds? Judge Song, who had just turned around and walked a few steps, trembled. How fast was that? 5 seconds. It was only 5 seconds. However, it was also true that the two siblings had been together for 800 years. Not to mention doing it, once the mind had that kind of thought, there would be a crisis of disintegration, so it was normal. At this time, Yi Xian, who had walked a dozen steps, also heard the movement. After his eyes flickered twice, he gave some kind of order to the two. Kacha! Kacha! 2 crisp sounds echoed. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue's necks were twisted. Moreover, they knew each other's life. Ding, the killing intent of the host has increased. Ding, the killing intent of the host has increased. The 2 lines of system prompts sounded, indicating that Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue had fallen. Yi Xian threw out a nirvana fire without turning his head. Huff, huff, huff. The Yin-Yang Old Ancestor's corpse began to burn and soon turned into ashes. Now that the Yin-Yang Old Ancestor's matter had been resolved, Yi Xian and the other 2 could be considered as avenging. However, Yi Xian was still stuck at the 7th level of the Nirvana realm. Therefore, he had to find the mysterious flame to break through to the 8th level of the Nirvana realm, which was the 9 Netherwind flame. Fortunately, the Yin-Yang Old Ancestor revealed that the Lu family had the 9 Netherwind flame. However, the Lu family had more than one Immortality Realm powerhouse. This was a huge family with thousands of years of inheritance, so Yi Xian still needed to plan. Young master, What should we do now? Return to the Penglai Divine Land? Luo Luo asked. Yes, it just so happens that the Lu family has the 9 Netherwind Flame. I must get it. Then, we will go through the Lu family's teleportation array and return to the Penglai Divine Land. Yi Xian nodded. Chapter 1395. Now that the Yin Yang ancestor is dead, we can finally go home. Adjudicator Song grinned. He was also kidnapped on his wedding day, so he was going to hold a new wedding when he returned. All right, you guys stay here first. I'll hurry on my way. Yi Xian nodded. Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song were both at the 7th level of Nirvana Realm, but they would soon break through to the 8th level of Nirvana Realm. Old Tree was also about to break through to the 8th level of Nirvana Realm. With the addition of Wei Zhentian, who was at the 9th level of Nirvana Realm, they wouldn't be in danger as long as no Longevity Realm experts came. The 4 of them casually found a place to stay, and then Yi Xian began his journey. As for Luo Luo, she stayed in the planting space to cultivate. With the cultivation resources of the Yin Yang ancestor, she estimated that she would be able to break through to the 9th level of Nirvana Realm in 3 days at most. However, just as Yi Xian was rushing to the Lu family, something happened in the Lu family. Ancestor, not good. An expert of the Lu family hurriedly rushed to a mansion in the depths of the Lu family. What's the matter? Why are you in such a hurry? The gate of the courtyard was opened, but no one came out. Only an old voice was heard. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue's life jade tokens have shattered. The expert of the Lu family reported truthfully. What? The old voice suddenly shook, and in the next moment, a figure rushed out of the mansion and disappeared in the blink of an eye. An Longevity Realm expert could condense a life jade token. If the life jade token shattered, it meant that the person was dead. Now that Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue's life jade tokens had shattered, it meant that they had fallen. After the ancestor of the Lu family rushed out, he rushed to the ancestral hall of the Lu family. After taking a closer look, he found that Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue's life jade tokens had shattered. Xing Eryu, The ancestor of the Lu family was an old woman named Lu Bingzhen. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue, whose jade plates of life had shattered, were her son and daughter. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue cultivated as one and were hated by the Lu family, so the 2 of them left the Lu family. Even so, they were still the children of the ancestor of the Lu family, so the jade tablet of life was still kept in the ancestral hall. There were a total of 6 life jade tokens in the Lu family's ancestral hall. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue were 2 of them. Excluding Lu Bingzhen, the Lu family had 3 immortal level powerhouses. Now that 2 immortal levels were dead, it was a huge blow to the Lu family. The Yin Yang Sacred Hall was destroyed first. Xing and Yu also died after asking me to investigate this matter. It seems that they provoked a powerful enemy. As Lu Bingzhen thought to herself, her figure flashed and she arrived in front of a mansion. Grandma, why are you here? A middle-aged man walked out of the mansion in surprise and looked at Lu Bingzhen. Your uncle and aunt are dead, Lu Bingzhen said with a gloomy expression. Dead? The middle-aged man was shocked. Lu Bingzhen had 3 children in total. Her eldest son, Lu Wenyang, her second son, Lu Wenxing, and her third daughter, Lu Wenyue. Her eldest son, Lu Wenyang, was adopted by Lu Bingzhen and her husband in the early years. He was not her biological son. This middle-aged man was Lu Wenyang's son, Lulin. He was also an ancestor of the Lu family and an immortal level LV1. Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue were his uncle and aunt. That's right. Their life jade tokens have been shattered. I want you to investigate, said Lu Bingzhen. The Yin Yang Sacred Hall was just destroyed, and my uncle and aunt died one after another. Lulin thought for a moment and nodded. All right, I'll go now. Be careful. The Lu family can't afford to lose any more, reminded Lu Bingzhen. Yes, Grandma. After replying, Lulin turned into a ray of light and shot out of the Lu family. The Lu family was actually not related to Lu Bingzhen by blood because she had adopted Lu Wenyang. However, she had built the Lu family single-handedly. She had been in charge of the Lu family for 1,000 years. Now that her time was almost up, if the Lu family lost any more immortal level experts, they would definitely go downhill in the future. They might even be wiped out by the surrounding forces. At this moment, Yi Xian was rushing to the Lu family. He first broke through the void and arrived at the valley, then headed north. At his speed, It would take him about 3 days to reach the Lu family. In 3 days, Luo would probably break through to the 9th level of Nirvana. At that time, he would have the confidence to go against the entire Lu family. However, after a day's journey, a powerful aura suddenly swept into his range of perception. Whoosh! The figure stopped in front of Yi Xian and asked in a questioning tone, "Where did you come from?" Yi Xian glanced at him and said, "Senior, is there a problem?" Immortal-level experts could condense life jade tokens. Previously, Lu Wenxing had said that their life jade tokens were in the Lu family. There were not many forces with immortal-level experts here. Now that an immortal-level expert had appeared, it was very likely that the Lu family had sent him to investigate. "Let me ask you, where did you come from?" Lulin opened his eyes wide. He could see that Yi Xian was only at the 7th level of Nirvana. In his eyes, this level of cultivation was like an ant, so he disdained to make a move on him. "You are from the Lu family, right?" At this moment, Yi Xian suddenly narrowed his eyes. Ha! When he heard this, Lulin trembled. He did not expect Yi Xian to be able to guess his identity so quickly. "I killed Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue." Just as Lulin was astonished, Yi Xian told him the truth. This sentence frightened Lulin. He was here to investigate the deaths of Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue, but now, suddenly, a 7th-level Nirvana brat told him that he had killed an immortal-level expert. Was this not a dream? What a joke! You think you can kill an immortal-level expert? Lulin snorted coldly. In terms of strength, the Yin-Yang Patriarch was stronger than him, but Yi Xian was only at the 7th level of Nirvana realm. The difference in strength was like heaven and earth. How could he have killed him? However, Yi Xian actually knew the names of Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue, and even knew that they were dead. It seemed like he knew something. "I killed them. Believe it or not. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first." After Yi Xian finished speaking, he went around Lulin and swept into the distance. "How dare you? Did I say you could leave?" Lulin shouted in a low voice. He raised his hand and prepared to capture Yi Xian. "Then you're courting death." Yi Xian suddenly turned around and raised his sword. Killing intent explosion. Peerless Flaming Dragon Slash. This golden flaming dragon collided with Lulin's true energy giant palm, but surprisingly, Lulin's attack was actually dispersed. This scene fell into Lulin's eyes, which made Lulin very surprised. Chapter 1396. In Lulin's eyes, even a martial artist at the peak of Nirvana realm was just an ant. Breaking through a major realm was like reaching the heavens in a single step. The difference was huge. Not to mention, Yi Xian was only at the 7th stage of Nirvana realm. There was a difference of 3 realms. This kid is strange. He might know what happened. Lulin's eyes lit up and attacked again. Yi Xian raised his hand to counterattack, but his figure retreated quickly, making his opponent think that he was escaping. "Haha, kid, aren't you very arrogant? You think you can escape from me?" Lulin laughed and attacked with both hands. Yi Xian was helpless. An immortal-level powerhouse was attacking him, but he felt superior. He really didn't know where that came from. This person is slightly weaker than the Yin-Yang Patriarch. I'm not his match in a one-on-one battle. Yi Xian thought to himself and informed Luo, who was cultivating in the planting space. Luo immediately stopped cultivating and appeared on Lulin's left. 9 Reincarnation Flash. Luo attacked directly after she appeared. What? Lulin didn't understand the situation. There were only the 2 of them here. Why was there a fox girl here? Moreover, she was so fast. Get lost. Lulin attacked with his palm, but Luo nimbly dodged it. 9 Reincarnation Flash. 2nd Flash. 9 Reincarnation Flash. 3rd Flash. In the blink of an eye, Luo was in front of Lulin. 9 Reincarnation Flash. 4th Flash. Whoosh! Lulin's face darkened and his heart trembled. So fast. The 4th flash of the 9 Reincarnation Flash was no slower than an immortal-level powerhouse. Lulin was shocked and raised his hand to block. Swish! 2 of Lulin's fingers were cut off. The pain transmitted to his brain proved that this wasn't a dream. But at this moment, Yi Xian suddenly used his ultimate move. Burning Sky Pill. Killing Intent Explosion. Unparalleled True Flame Dragon Slash. A huge golden flame dragon rushed out like a prehistoric giant beast and instantly engulfed Lulin. Lulin felt that his life was in danger for the first time in the past 100 years. It was also the first time since he had broken through to immortal level. The combination of a 7th-level Rebirth Realm martial artist and an 8th-level Rebirth Realm martial artist had actually forced him to burn his lifespan to block their attacks, and this caused him to be embarrassed. Scram! Lulin was enraged. He gathered his chi and blasted the golden flame dragon apart, along with the eye of destruction that was hidden within. But at this moment, 9 reincarnation flash. 5th flash. Hiss! Luo sped up again, her figure flashing past Lulin. With a crisp sound, Lulin's head was separated from her body. The Xianxia in her body instantly lost control and was incinerated by the golden flame dragon. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. A system notification was heard. Another immortal level powerhouse had died. Good coordination, Xian said to Luo with a smile. This immortal phoenix bloodline is really amazing. My Xianxia recovered instantly. Luo couldn't help but praise. The immortal phoenix bloodline had extremely strong recovery and detoxification abilities. In addition, it also increased fire attacks and fire resistance. It was indeed very good. Go back and cultivate first. I will send the items in. Xian said to her. Okay. Luo nodded in response. Then, she was sent into the planting space by Xian and continued to cultivate. Then, Xian quickly rushed over and kept Lulin's Qian Kuan ring. Lulin had actually refined a type of mystical flame, but because he underestimated Xian, he was killed by Luo. He didn't even have the chance to use 30% of his combat strength and died without knowing why. After Xian obtained Lulin's Qian Kuan ring, he sent the cultivation resources into the planting space for Luo. After the death of the Yin-Yang patriarch, Wei Zhentian was already at the peak of Nirvana stage level 9. However, because Xian's level didn't increase, he was also stuck at this level. Therefore, these ores and cultivation resources that he didn't need were accumulated. There's actually an immortal level heaven-reaching beast's corpse. When I return to the old tree, it should be able to break through to Nirvana stage level 9. Xian raised his eyebrows. The old tree usually absorbed his blood to break through. Of course, it could also devour corpses. The higher the level, the better. The immortal level heaven-reaching beast's corpse was naturally not as good as Xian's blood. Unfortunately, the immortal level heaven-reaching beast's soul was gone. The Lu family has a total of 6 immortal level patriarchs. Besides Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue, another one died, so there are only 3 left. Among these 3, one of them is at immortal level 2. She's Lu Wenyue and Lu Wenxing's mother. Xian thought to himself. Previously, the Yin-Yang patriarch had revealed all the secrets of the Lu family, not leaving out a single one. In addition to some things in the Yin and Yang ring, Xian knew that the one he just killed was called Lulin. He was the son of Lu Wenxing and Lu Wenyue's brother, which meant that he was their nephew. As for the remaining 2 immortal level Lu family patriarchs, one was called Lu Wanyang and the other was called Lu Feng. Lu Wanyang was Lulin's father and Xian's target this time. This was because the key to Xian's breakthrough, the 9 Serenities wind flame, was in his hands. As for Lu Feng, he was the top genius of the Lu family. He only spent 200 years to break through to the immortal level. After reaching the Nirvana stage, each stage would increase one's lifespan by a lot. Therefore, many people delayed giving birth to children to focus on cultivation. Some people only gave birth when they were 100 years old, while others only gave birth when they were a few hundred years old. This way, they would not be distracted. The Lu family had been passed down for thousands of years. If they were like ordinary people who had a generation in their 20s, then the population would be too terrifying. Moreover, it was not easy to manage as the cultivation resources were too scattered. It was better to centralize them. Therefore, the Lu family's population was maintained at around 1,000 people. These 1,000 people were all elites. If it was before, as long as Xian plundered the Lu family, he would probably be able to break through to the 9th level of the Nirvana stage. Unfortunately, he accepted a special leveling mission and couldn't obtain the designated items. No matter how many heavenly and earthly treasures he had, it was useless. After killing Lulin, Xian traveled for 2 days and finally arrived at the Lu family. However, he did not enter. Instead, he waited outside the Lu family because Luo had not broken through yet. Not to mention the patriarch Lu Bingzhen, who was at LV2, he could not deal with the two immortal level patriarchs. Therefore, it was better to wait for Luo to break through first, just in case. Very quickly. 2 hours later. Ding! Luo has broken through. She is now at Nirvana Stage 9. The sound of the system notification finally rang out. Luo had broken through to Nirvana Stage 9. Now, she was not afraid of anyone in the Lu family. Chapter 1397. Alright, let's begin. After hearing the system notification, Xianxia finally strode towards the Lu family. Sir, is something the matter? Before he could approach the Lu family, he was stopped by a guard. The Lu family was much more powerful than the Yinyang temple. Just one of the guards was at Nirvana Stage Level 7. However, before the guard could finish his sentence, he was controlled by Xianxia's Eye of Soul. Bring me to Lu Wanyang, Xianxia ordered the guard through the air. Master, I don't have the authority. The guard walked to Xianxia and said softly. Then bring me to the one with the authority. Xianxia said. There were only 3 immortal level powerhouses in the Lu family. They were Lu Bingzhen, Lu Wanyang, and Lu Feng, who were at Nirvana Stage Level 2. Other than them, there were no other immortal level powerhouses. Therefore, Xianxia's Eye of Soul could control everyone except the 3 of them. The guard nodded and brought Xianxia into the Lu family. Xianxia's target this time was Lu Wanyang. As long as he could obtain the 9 nether wind flames, he would be able to break through to Nirvana Stage Level 8. By then, he would be able to kill an immortal level powerhouse alone. Soon, the guard brought Xianxia to a person. It was a butler of the Lu family. Eye of Soul. Ding. Control successful. The butler, who was at Nirvana Stage Level 9, was immediately controlled by Xianxia. Then, Xianxia gave him another order. Unexpectedly, the butler didn't have the authority to contact Lu Wanyang, so he brought Xianxia to look for him again. This time, he brought Xianxia to look for Lu Wanyang's grandson. Xianxia had no choice but to control Lu Wanyang's grandson. Finally, he could look for Lu Wanyang. With his powerful eye of perception, Xianxia could sense that he was approaching an immortal level powerhouse. Grandpa, are you there? Lu Wanyang's grandson shouted from outside the mansion. Not just anyone could enter this area. The number of people who could enter could be counted on one hand. Clang! As his voice faded, the door to the courtyard opened, and a deep voice sounded from within. What is it? Sun Tzu replied. A friend of mine obtained news of the 9 Serenities wind flame. Oh! When Lu Wanyang heard this, he opened his eyes and dashed out. 9 nether wind flame? Lu Wanyang came outside and looked at his grandson and Xianxia, who was at the 7th level of the Nirvana stage. But in the next moment, he suddenly realized that there was another figure around him. Luo. Eye of Charm. It was too easy for Luo, who was at the 9th level of the Nirvana realm, to use the Eyes of Charm to control someone who was 1 level higher than her. In the blink of an eye, Lu Wanyang was subdued. He had obtained the 9 Serenities wind flame. Xianxia immediately rushed over and took off his interspatial ring. However, what made Xianxia feel helpless was that there was no 9 Serenities wind flame inside. Where did the 9 Serenities wind flame go? Xianxia asked in surprise. I couldn't refine the 9 Serenities wind flame after decades, so I gave it to Lu Feng. Lu Wanyang replied. Lu Feng. He was the current #1 genius of the Lu family. He had broken through to the immortality stage after cultivating for less than 200 years. Xianxia trembled when he heard this. He asked, when did you give it to him? Half a year ago. Lu Wanyang replied. Many things could happen in half a year. If the 9 Serenities wind flame was refined, it would be a tragedy. Bring me to him immediately. Xianxia shouted in a low voice. But at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in the sky. Who dares to be so presumptuous in the Lu family? An old voice was heard. Xianxia turned his head and focused his eyes. A figure was quickly approaching from outside his eye of perception. That speed. She's at LV2 of the immortality stage. She should be the ancestor of the Lu family, Lu Bingzhen. Xianxia's eyes widened. He reckoned that Lu Bingzhen must have sensed the aura of Luolua's Eye of Enchantment when she used it. If that was the case, there was no need to hide anymore. Luo had broken through to LV9 of the Nirvana stage and was controlling Lu Wanyang, who was at the immortality stage. So what if she was at LV2 of the immortality stage? Young master, I'll stop him. Luo suddenly flew into the sky. All right, be careful. Yi Xian nodded and said to Lu Wanyang, bring me to Lu Feng. Yes. Lu Wanyang nodded respectfully. Fortunately, Lu Feng was cultivating in the Lu family. Otherwise they would have to look for him. In the distance, Lu Bingzhen was extremely astonished when she saw Lu Wanyang being brought away by Yi Xian. It was unbelievable that a LV7 Nirvana stage and a LV9 Nirvana stage could control an immortality stage. Little girl, get out of my way. Lu Bingzhen was furious. She slapped Luo. Hundredfold Fox Demon Clone, purifying demonic lotus flame. Luo transformed into hundreds of clones and formed a flaming lotus. Then she smashed it down. Boom! A shockwave swept across the area. Fortunately, the people living nearby were not weak. Even so, they vomited blood from the shockwave. A LV9 Nirvana stage martial artist actually had the strength to contend with a LV2 of the immortality stage. It was terrifying. In the distance, Lu Feng, who was refining the 9 nether wind flame in his residence, heard Lu Bingzhen's roar and went out to check. He happened to see Lu Wanyang and Yi Xian rushing towards him. Ancestor, what happened? Lu Feng asked in surprise. Everyone in the Lu family, except for Lu Bingzhen, Lu Wenxing, and Lu Wenyue, were Lu Wanyang's children. Therefore, it was normal for Lu Feng to address Lu Wanyang as ancestor. Lu Feng, give me the 9 nether wind flame now. Lu Wanyang said anxiously. The 9 nether wind flame was originally given to Lu Feng by Lu Wanyang. When Lu Feng saw Lu Wanyang's reaction, he took out the 9 nether wind flame from his interspatial ring and threw it to Lu Wanyang. However, Lu Feng was shocked in the next moment. He saw Lu Wanyang pass the 9 nether wind flame to the LV7 Nirvana stage martial artist behind him after receiving it. He gave it away? Lu Feng's eyes widened. Then, he felt Yi Xian's aura suddenly surging. Ding! Host has devoured the 9 nether wind flame. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is currently at LV8 Nirvana stage. Ding! Host has completed the special level up mission. Wei Zhentian has broken through the level limit once. The system notification shocked Yi Xian. Wei Zhentian was no longer restricted by his level? This meant that Wei Zhentian could break through to become a level 6 divine weapon, which was also the immortal stage. However, Yi Xian suddenly saw a LV1 immortal stage label behind Wei Zhentian. This meant that Wei Zhentian could break through to LV1 immortal stage now. Haha! Yi Xian couldn't help but laugh in his heart. He then devoured the ores that he had accumulated earlier. Ding! Host has reached the peak of LV8 Nirvana stage. Chapter 1398. Ding! The host has reached the pinnacle of Nirvana stage level 8. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through and is currently at immortality stage level 1. 2 more system notifications rang out. Yi Xian glanced at the heavenly flame that he needed next. Then his eyes flickered. Eye of Soul. This move was used on Lu Feng. Lu Feng had just broken through to immortality stage and was much weaker than Lu Wanyang. However, he was still 2 levels higher than Yi Xian. Yi Xian's Eye of Soul failed this time. However, when Yi Xian used his Eye of Soul, Lu Wanyang suddenly made his move. Boom! Lu Wanyang's fist landed on Lu Feng's chest. Lu Feng spat out a mouthful of blood and his eyes widened. He couldn't understand why his ancestor would give the 9 nether wind flame to someone else. He also couldn't understand why he would attack and injure him. However, in the next moment he understood. Eye of Soul. Ding! Control successful. Lu Feng was also controlled by Yi Xian. The Lu family was only left with Lu Bingzhen, who was at immortality stage level 2. Now, Lu Bingzhen had to face 4 immortality stage powerhouses. If Wei Zhentian was here, there would be 5 of them. However, Wei Zhentian was far away and was protecting Song Suijing and Adjudicator Song. When Lu Bingzhen saw Lu Wenyang make a move and bring Lu Feng along to follow behind Yi Xian, her heart went cold. It seemed that Lu Feng was also being controlled. Who are you guys? Lu Bingzhen asked in confusion. If they were immortality stage powerhouses, It would be fine. However, Yi Xian and Luo Luo were only Nirvana stage powerhouses. This was too strange. Could it be that the world had changed? Could Nirvana stage be after Immortality stage? Submit to me and I will ensure the safety of your Lu family. Otherwise, the two of them will die immediately. Yi Xian's cold voice fell into Lu Bingzhen's ears. Lu Bingzhen suddenly thought of something and asked in surprise, "It was you who destroyed the Yinyang temple?" "The Yinyang temple was destroyed by two samsara travelers, not me," Yi Xian replied calmly. "Reincarnata?" Lu Bingzhen trembled and couldn't help but stop. After thinking for a moment she asked, "If I submit to you, what if you go back on your word? If I want to kill you, you won't live for more than 10 seconds. If I want to destroy your Lu family, it won't take more than 10 seconds. Yi Xian didn't answer the question. He only spoke the truth. Luo Luo was able to stall Lu Bingzhen by herself. Now that Yi Xian had broken through to the 8th level of the Nirvana realm, his strength wasn't any weaker than Luo Luo's. In addition to Lu Wanyang and Lu Feng, if they were to really fight, Lu Bingzhen would fall within 10 seconds. Seeing Lu Bingzhen hesitate, Yi Xian continued, "I'll give you 3 seconds to consider. After 3 seconds, you will personally witness the destruction of the Lu family." 3 seconds was very fast for an ordinary person. However, for an immortal realm elite it was very long. In 3 seconds they could think of many things. In the end, Lu Bingzhen compromised and nodded. "All right, I submit to you. I hope you will keep your promise." "Don't worry, I don't make promises easily. Once I agree, I will definitely do it." After Yi Xian finished speaking, he immediately used his soul eye on Lu Bingzhen. At first, the 1,000-year-old Lu Bingzhen resisted. This was normal. After all, there was an unyielding will in her body. After Yi Xian used his soul eye for the 3rd time, a system notification rang. Ding! Control successful. Lu Bingzhen, who was at the 2nd level of the immortal realm, had become Yi Xian's fighter. If Lu Bingzhen resisted, it would be difficult to subdue her even with his soul eye. However, Lu Bingzhen was threatened by Yi Xian, so she could only agree. As Yi Xian said, Luo Luo alone could hold her back. In that case, Yi Xian, Lu Wanyang, and Lu Feng could easily destroy the Lu family. Very good. After hearing the system notification, Yi Xian nodded in satisfaction. Lu Bingzhen's shout had attracted many people's attention. Now that they saw Lu Bingzhen submit, they were shocked speechless. The strongest person in the Lu family actually submitted to a Nirvana realm martial artist. No one dared to believe it, but this was the truth. Now that he had subdued Lu Bingzhen and the Lu family was under his control, it was time to collect the spoils of war. Lu Bingzhen had submitted to him, so he didn't want to be too ruthless. After all, the Lu family still needed to run. After collecting the spoils, it was time to get down to business. Where is the cross-realm teleportation portal? Yi Xian turned his head and asked Lu Bingzhen. It's under the Lu family. Lu Bingzhen replied. Okay, open it. I want to teleport to the Penglai divine land. After Yi Xian finished speaking, he broke through the void and directly took Song Sui Jing and Judge Song. Finally they were going home. This cross-realm teleportation portal was much more advanced than the one in the Penglai divine land. It could teleport many people at once. However, Yi Xian only had 3 people, so it didn't cost much. Before leaving, Yi Xian also instructed Lu Bingzhen to find some things he needed. For example, the Scarlet Bloodfire. The Scarlet Bloodfire was ranked 84th on the exceptional flame list. It was usually born in the body of a great killer. The so-called great killer was a killer who killed without blinking an eye. For no reason, they would annihilate an entire family. They killed for fun and had killed tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of people. This was the key to Yi Xian's breakthrough to the 9th level of the Nirvana realm. In addition, Yi Xian asked Lu Bingzhen to do her best to find the Devourer beast. Whoosh! The cross-realm teleportation portal began to rotate. After a dazzling light bloomed, Yi Xian, Song Sui Jing, and Judge Song's careers changed. They had arrived at the Penglai divine land. Are we back? Judge Song touched his head in astonishment. Yes, we're here. Yi Xian nodded. The Yinyang old ancestor had also been to this place before, so Yi Xian knew where it was. However, before they were teleported back, Yi Xian's second clone in the eastern continent was the first to arrive. Ta ta ta. A series of footsteps passed through. Song Sui-jing and Judge Song trembled and were extremely vigilant. It's me. Yi Xian's second clone walked out. The three clones had gathered. Let's go home. Before the second clone rushed over, he had left a lot of void trackers, so they only needed to pass through the void door to reach the Bloodrock sect. After passing through several void doors, they finally arrived at the entrance of the Bloodrock continent. Then, they passed through the secret territory's entrance. They had returned to the Bloodrock continent. The yuan qi of heaven and earth here is too thin. After passing through the secret territory's entrance and returning to the Bloodrock continent, Judge Song could not help but frown after feeling the yuan qi. Chapter 1399. Yi Xian nodded and said, "Yes, it's far worse than the sacred ground." Ordinary people needed to absorb yuan qi to cultivate, but he didn't need it. Thus, the yuan qi didn't affect him. However, if the yuan qi in the Bloodstone continent was 1, then the yuan qi in the Yinyang temple was 1 million yuan qi. The difference was like heaven and earth. Let's go. After returning to the Bloodstone continent, Yi Xian's eyes flickered as he opened a void door. Next stop, Lianyun City. After Song Sui-jing and Song Caijue passed through the void door, they arrived at a large hall. There were already hundreds of people gathered here. They all received the news and gathered here to welcome the return of Song Sui-jing and Song Caijue. After seeing Song Caijue, Lan Yu and Song Caijue's wife rushed over and hugged each other. It has been 3 years. At that time, Yi Xian, Yi Chong, and Song Caijue were holding a wedding together. However, they didn't expect that a Yinyang ancestor would appear out of nowhere and snatch Song Caijue and Song Caijue away. Fortunately, no one died that day. The only ones who succeeded in getting married were Yi Chong and Lin Wenyue. Yi Xian's wife, Song Sui-jing, and Lan Yu's husband, Song Caijue, were kidnapped. This made Yi Xian embark on the road of finding his wife. Now, he finally found her. Father, grandfather! Tears welled up in Song Kai-jing's eyes when he saw Song Zheng and Song Cheng walking towards him. Good, it's good that you're back. Song Zheng hugged his daughter who had been separated from him for 3 years and revealed a gratified smile. Their family was finally reunited. In the past 3 years, many people had moved into Lianyun City. Those who had retired from the Great Song dynasty had all come. Yi Xian was thinking that when the cultivation space's level increased, he would directly open up a continent for them to live and develop. After all, the yuan qi in the cultivation space wasn't any worse than the Yinyang temple. These people could all live to 100 years old. In the future, when Yi Xian achieved immortal level or even rebirth level, they would be able to benefit from him and break through to immortal level as well, becoming a powerhouse. This time, Yi Xian had no intention of leaving in the near future. Furthermore, his original body was still overseeing the Lu family and investigating some matters. After resting, the first clone would go to the Glazed Light Holy Land to meet up with the main body, and then they would begin their training. But right now, there was still an important matter to attend to. The wedding 3 years ago was interrupted by the Yinyang old ancestor, so Yi Xian and Adjudicator Song wanted to hold another wedding. It only took a day to prepare for the wedding. Lianyun City specially sent experts to pick up the representatives of the various forces. There was no need for gifts when attending a wedding. Instead, there were all kinds of precious pills and elixirs. There were over 10,000 guests. Yi Xian remembered that it was the supreme sacred beast, Rainbow Sparrow, that escorted the bride to the wedding. Now, of course, he couldn't use such low-level saint beasts. This time, it was a pair of Nirvana level 9 colored phoenixes. Last time, there were 6 brides, but this time, there were only 4. After all, Lin Wenyue and Jiang Xinyan were already married to Yi Chong. The wedding went much smoother than expected. This time, no one dared to disturb them. Soon, Yi Xian and Adjudicator Song married their respective brides and returned to their own mansions. Next, it was time for the bridal chamber. In Yi Xian's floating island, there were only Song Sui-jing, Guan Yulan, and Yi Xian. One person married 2 brides at the same time. This body was generally not enough, but Yi Xian was different. Tisk, TSK, there is only one adjudicator, but I have 2. Yi Xian had a sneaky look on his face. He suddenly cloned himself outside the door, and then walked into the bridal chamber. Not long after, Sounds of nature could be heard from inside. The Gemini bloodline, no, the immortal phoenix bloodline's undying clone was simply a divine skill. On this day, the two girls, Song Suijing and Guan Yulan, had successfully transformed into women. Originally, they could have consummated their marriage 3 years ago, but because of the Yin Yang old ancestor, it was delayed for 3 years. In these 3 years, Yi Xian had been restraining himself. Now, he could finally vent and become a real man. A newlywed's moment was worth 1,000 gold. Although Yi Xian wasn't in the immortal realm, his body had been tempered by the mysterious fire. Last night, Yi Xian and his 2 wives didn't sleep at all. God knows how many rounds they fought until the sky brightened up. Song Suijing was in the 7th level of the Nirvana realm and was about to break through. Guan Yulan was slightly weaker, but she also relied on pills to reach the 5th level of the Nirvana realm. It was also because of this that they could withstand Yi Xian's torment. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to endure it. Yi Xian had the immortal phoenix bloodline, but Song Suijing and Guan Yulan didn't. Therefore, the 2 women were exhausted and fell asleep. Then, Yi Xian left the floating island and came to Lianyun City. Bad young master. You bullied the 2 sisters for an entire night, right? When Luo saw Yi Xian, she hurriedly came up to him. How did you know? Yi Xian was a little surprised. Of course I guessed, I'm not stupid. Luo stuck out her tongue, then grabbed a drumstick and ate it. I'm going to see a senior, do you want to come? Yi Xian suddenly said. Senior, there's a senior here? When Luo heard this, she was a little surprised. Yi Xian was in the 8th level of the Nirvana realm, so it was impossible for there to be anyone higher than him. Therefore, Luo guessed that the senior Yi Xian was talking about should be a senior. Yes, a hidden expert. I don't know what realm he is at. Yi Xian nodded slightly. The senior he was talking about was old immortal Jianghu of the vast wilderness. 3 years ago, after Song Suijing and Song Caijue were captured, Yi Xian went to see old immortal Jianghu. If old immortal Jianghu hadn't told him about the Yin Yang temple, he probably wouldn't have gone to the glazed light sacred ground. Therefore, Yi Xian owed old immortal Jianghu a big favor. This time, he was going to thank old immortal Jianghu. Hidden expert, it seems that he's at least in the immortality realm. Luo was also a little curious, so she followed Yi Xian and left. Now that Yi Xian had broken through to the 8th level of the Nirvana realm, his spiritual sense was enough to cover the entire Blood Cliff continent even without the eye of perception and killer instinct. However, he couldn't penetrate the vast wilderness. In the blink of an eye, he brought Luo to the depths of the vast wilderness. Senior! Yi Xian opened his mouth, but before he could finish, an old voice sounded. Come in through the light pillar. The voice belonged to old immortal Jianghu. Even Yi Xian could cover the entire Blood Cliff continent, so it wasn't surprising that this mysterious expert knew of his arrival. Yi Xian brought Luo through the light pillar and arrived in front of a wooden house. Old immortal Jianghu was sitting in the courtyard in front of the wooden house, practicing calligraphy and cultivating his mind. Chapter 1400. Junior is here to thank Senior. Junior's wife has been found. Yi Xian cupped his fists and thanked him. Small matter. Old immortal Jianghu waved his brush and finished the last stroke. It was the word, Tian. Junior's realm is too low. I don't know how to repay Senior. Yi Xian said as he suddenly took out a piece of parchment from his interspatial ring and handed it to old immortal Jianghu. Old immortal Jianghu glanced at it, and in the next moment, the brush in his hand suddenly trembled. Sky-piercing treasure map? Old immortal Jianghu shouted in his heart. His eyes widened, and his expression was extremely shocked. After a pause, he asked in surprise, This thing, where did you get it? His tone made Yi Xian somewhat startled. It seemed that this thing had aroused old immortal Jianghu's interest. Junior got this after killing Yin Yang old ancestor, but Junior couldn't understand it. Yi Xian replied honestly. Yin Yang old ancestor. Old immortal Jianghu almost rolled his eyes. He naturally knew about this sky-piercing treasure map, but he didn't expect that he would almost miss such a treasure. Yin Yang old ancestor had come to Blood Rock continent before. He didn't expect that this thing would be in his interspatial ring. You want to use this thing to repay my favor? Old immortal Jianghu's eyes fell on Yi Xian. Yes. Yi Xian nodded solemnly. A drop of water should be repaid with a gushing spring. The value of this sky-piercing treasure map had probably exceeded his expectations. Even old immortal Tianju was interested in it. But if it wasn't for old immortal Tianju, Yi Xian wouldn't know where to find Song Sui Jing. He would just wander around Penglai Holy Land blindly, and he didn't know if he would ever see her again in this life. Although 3 years was a long time, Yi Xian might not find Song Sui Jing for 100 years without old immortal Tianju. After all, who knew what would happen in the future? Just like before, when the Yin Yang Temple suddenly provoked a powerful enemy and was destroyed, Song Sui Jing and Adjudicator Song might also die. No matter how precious this heavenly treasure map was, it couldn't compare to the Song Sui Jing, so Yi Xian felt that it was worth it. All right, I'll take it. Old immortal Tianju nodded and kept the heavenly treasure map. Upon hearing this, Yi Xian heaved a sigh of relief. He was afraid that the heavenly treasure map was worthless. If that was the case, he would always remember this favor. If you have any difficulties in the future, you can come find me. I will do my best, old immortal Tianju added. Thank you, senior. Yi Xian cupped his fists and thanked him. In the future, he would know what old immortal Tianju's do your best meant. You brought this little girl here to ask about the bloodline in her body, right? Old immortal Tianju glanced at Luo Luo and said, her bloodline is rare, even for me. However, I know something related to this little girl. If you want to know more, you should go to the west of the land of reincarnation. Upon hearing this, Yi Xian was stunned. The land of reincarnation? The west. This name was obviously related to the rebirth state. Yi Xian hadn't even reached the immortality state, so it shouldn't be that fast. However, Yi Xian didn't expect Luo Luo's bloodline to be so powerful that it was related to the rebirth state. Could it be that Luo Luo was also a reincarnator? Thank you, senior. Yi Xian cupped his fists and thanked old immortal Tianju once again before leaving with Luo Luo. After the two of them left, old immortal Tianju couldn't help but take out the heavenly treasure map from before. Then, he took out another piece of paper and pieced it together. I actually obtained 2 heavenly treasure maps. Old immortal Tianju muttered. Old immortal Tianju muttered. He didn't dare to believe this fact. After leaving the great wilderness, Yi Xian returned to Lianyun City. Young master, that senior looked so powerful. What realm do you think he is? Luo Luo asked curiously. At least the rebirth state, Yi Xian replied. I don't think so. Luo Luo shook her head. Anyway, he's much stronger than us. Yi Xian paused for a moment before sending a voice transmission to Luo Luo. Furthermore, I feel that this isn't the real body of that senior. What we saw just now was just a true energy avatar. It can't be. Luo Luo turned around in shock and replied, then where is his real body? I'm not sure. I don't know why he would appear in the Bloodrock continent. Yi Xian shook his head. However, he only knew that old immortal Tianju was related to the monster race in the great wilderness. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stopped him previously. At that time, Yi Xian wanted to exterminate the monster race in the great wilderness. Now that he thought about it, he felt a little creeped out. Yi Xian stayed in the eastern continent for a month. During this month, Song Sui Jing and Guan Yulan rarely appeared. This was because they had to play with Yi Xian at night and sleep during the day. After a month, it was time for Yi Xian to leave for the sacred ground of flowing light again. As for the eastern continent, he left his second avatar to accompany his family. Soon, the first avatar met up with his real body in the Lu family and fused with him. During this month, the Lu family had heard about the Crimson Blood Fire. There's a broken sky city in the north of the Lu family. There's a longevity pageant held there. Anyone below the longevity state can participate. The Crimson Blood Fire is one of the rewards. Yi Xian's eyes flickered. Then, he left the Lu family. The longevity pageant would be held 3 days later. Therefore, Yi Xian had to arrive at the Broken Sky City within 3 days. Fortunately, he was at the peak of the 8th level of the Nirvana realm. If he used the Dark Shadow Steps, his speed would far surpass that of a longevity state expert. 3 days later, Yi Xian arrived at the Broken Sky City. Tomorrow was the day of the longevity pageant. The main purpose of this longevity pageant is to unearth geniuses. First, it's to test their realm. Second, It's to test their age. Then, everyone will be graded. After 100 people have been graded, the test will be held. The Crimson Blood Fire is the reward for the first place. Yi Xian thought to himself as he walked towards the longevity pageant's registration point. The registration test only allowed those who passed and those who failed. Those who passed would be tested again at the longevity pageant tomorrow. At that time, the results would be determined. If there was a sect that had taken a fancy to them, they could extend an olive branch to them. If they couldn't even pass the registration test, it would mean that their aptitude was extremely poor. Yi Xian entered the longevity pageant and handed over the nirvana pills to register. The test was very simple. He used a special crystal. Whoosh! The crystal glowed. This meant that Yi Xian had passed the test. This is the qualification token for the longevity pageant. You are number 666. An attendant handed the token to Yi Xian. Not a bad number. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and asked in his mind, Luo, do you want to try? Chapter 1401. Luo was even scarier. She was only 16 years old this year, but she had already reached the peak of Nirvana realm at such a young age. Her aptitude was probably enough to instantly kill all the geniuses in Broken Sky City. Not to mention Luo, even Yi Xian could instantly kill her. Me? I'm not going. If I go, young master won't be able to get first place. Luo shook her head in the planting space. Yi Xian was stunned. Luo was at the peak of Nirvana realm, and even he wasn't confident of defeating her. Most importantly, Luo's aptitude would probably cause a huge commotion. Luo was already at Nirvana realm. As long as Yi Xian broke through, she would break through as well. Who would believe that a teenage immortality realm powerhouse? Even rebirth realm powerhouses would probably fight to take her as their disciple. Soon, the next day arrived. The Longevity Grand Meet was a grand event held in Broken Sky City every year. Many people came to join in the fun. The number Yi Xian received yesterday was 666, which proved that there were more than 600 people ahead of him. Tisk. TSK. So many powerhouses. Old Tree stood beside Luo and laughed softly. He had long been at the peak of Nirvana realm, but because of Yi Xian, he couldn't break through. As for Wei Zhentian, he transformed into a little green fox and laid on Yi Xian's shoulder with a lazy look. No one would have thought that this cute little green fox actually had the combat strength of an immortality realm. Soon, people arrived one after another. Even the organizer of the event, the Broken Sky City's City Lord Mansion, had come. Apart from the Broken Sky City's City Lord Mansion, there were two other major sects sponsoring the Longevity Grand Meet. One was the Mystic Heaven sect, and the other was the North Wind Mountain. These three forces had Immortality Realm Level 3 powerhouses overseeing them. Their strength wasn't weak. 17 Immortality Realm powerhouses, and 6 of them are at Immortality Realm Level 2. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. This Longevity Grand Meet wasn't in vain. If he could control all these Immortality Realm powerhouses, it would be a huge fortune. However, he had broken through so crazily in order to save Song Sui Jing. Now that he had rescued Song Sui Jing, he wasn't in a hurry. Otherwise, he could directly find the owner of the Crimson Fire and take it. Soon, the Longevity Grand Meet began. Number 1. Come up to the stage. Yi Xian's City Lord Mansion was Immortality Realms to the Immortality Realm Level 1. Following that, a man to the stage. The disciples of Broken Sky City, Profound Heaven Sect, and North Wind Mountain also participated, but it did not mean that they had to be tested first. This number 1 was a lone cultivator. The test was very simple, and it was done with a special crystal. Not only could the crystal measure one's cultivation level, but it could also measure one's age and give a score. 8th level of the Nirvana stage, 43 years old, 70 points. The general manager of Broken Sky City said loudly. Was 2 to the was to come. 8th level of the Nirvana stage, 40 years old, 72 points. Number S. Nirvana Realms. 43 years old. 73 points. Number 3 was the same age as number 1, also at the 8th level of the Nirvana realm. But don't forget, there was a difference in strength between the 8th level of the Nirvana realm. Number 3 was probably at the peak of the 8th level of the Nirvana realm. The tests continued one by one. The speed of the test was very fast. It didn't even take 5 seconds to test a person. Some of the people in front of them were solo cultivators, while others belonged to clans. The so-called solo cultivators were solo cultivators who didn't join any forces. Soon, 100 people finished the test. Among these 100 people, the one with the highest score was a 50-year-old 9th-level Nirvana realm martial artist with 80 points. This scoring mechanism was jointly decided by the 3 great forces. The others present didn't know how to judge, but those with high scores recorded it. Next, the disciples of the 3 great forces also began to appear one after another. 82 points. 83 points. 85 points. In the blink of an eye, it overshadowed those who were tested before. Presently, 300 people had already been tested, and the one with the highest score of 85 points was a young master of Broken Sky City's city governor's estate at the 9th level of the Nirvana realm at the age of 43. Practically all these people had the hope of breaking through to the longevity realm before the age of 100. But accidents couldn't be avoided on the path of cultivation. There seemed to be many geniuses now, yet less than 10% of them had truly matured. These people are all so weak. Luo couldn't help but mutter during the test. Of course, these words were spoken via voice transmission. Otherwise, it would surely draw the attention of the people in the surroundings. A 43-year-old 9th-level Nirvana realm martial artist was still weak? Tisk. TSK. TSK. It's already not bad. If I were to ascend the ring, I probably wouldn't even be able to obtain 30 points. Old Tree smiled as he transmitted his voice. He'd lived for a few hundreds of years, yet was only at the 9th level of the Nirvana realm now, and he was considered to be trash amongst these people. Right at this moment. 9th level of the Nirvana realm, 30 years old, 92 points. When this voice entered into the ears of everyone, it caused everyone to be shocked. 92 points. A person with 92 points had finally appeared. Everyone's attention was focused on the white-clothed young man on the ring, and some people even recognized him. It's the young sect master of the Profound Heaven sect, Xianxia. So it's him. I heard he's the #1 genius of the Profound Heaven sect. I didn't expect him to participate as well. Isn't this bullying? Sigh, the scarlet bloodfire is extremely precious. How could the 3 great powers be willing to give it to an outsider? The people in the surroundings started to discuss. Tisk, what genius? Young master will definitely obtain 100 points later. Luo muttered via voice transmission. Yixian raised his eyebrows and said awkwardly, "Cough, I'm only at the 8th level of the Nirvana realm. Wouldn't I be letting you down if I didn't obtain 100 points? In any case, you'll definitely obtain more points than this #1 genius. Young master, I believe in you." Luo smiled as she raised her small fist. Her large eyes were filled with trust. Yixian smiled and didn't say anything. The test continued. The disciples of the 3 great powers didn't have low scores. All of them were above 80 points, and a few were close to 90 points. However, this was only the score of the first round. There were still a few more rounds to go. Soon it was Yixian's turn. Number 666. The Broken Sky City's general manager on the ring shouted. This number isn't bad. I wonder how many points he'll obtain? Many people had such thoughts in their hearts. When he heard this, Yixian stomped his feet and leaped onto the ring. Begin the test. The Broken Sky City's general manager passed the test crystal to Yixian. Yixian placed his palm on the crystal. In the next moment, the crystal emitted a bright light. The Broken Sky City's general manager glanced at it and was slightly surprised. 8th level of the Nirvana realm, 26 years old, 90. 5 points. Chapter 1402. 95 points. That was 3 points higher than the young sect leader of the mysterious heaven sect, Xianxia. At the same time, it was the highest score in the test. How is that possible? Everyone was shocked. Could it be that the young man on the stage was a hidden genius from some force? The general manager of Broken Sky City was a little surprised. He let Yixian take the test again and the result was the same. How is that possible? Xianxia, who was in the mysterious heaven sect's camp, was shocked. The arrogant him had already taken the first place in the longevity grand meet. Now, there was a problem in the first round. What was going on? I remember that there was a 30-year-old peak 8th level Nirvana realm martial artist in the Profound Heaven sect with a score of 88 points. This young man is 4 years younger than him, and his aura is also at the peak of the 8th level of the Nirvana realm. An old man from the North Wind Mountains said as he stroked his beard. As soon as he said that, the surrounding people felt that it made sense. After all, the test crystal belonged to the 3 major forces. It couldn't be faked. 95 points then. It's only the first round. The governor of Broken Sky City said. Yi Xian. 95 points. It's settled. However, Yi Tian from the Mysterious Heaven sect was a little unconvinced. After remembering Yi Xian's score, he ignored him. After all, it was only the first round of the Longevity Grand Meet. There were still 2 more rounds. Young master, I told you that your score would be higher than his. Seeing Yi Xian get off the stage, Luo transmitted her voice to him. You will definitely score 100 points. Yi Xian transmitted his voice with a smile. I don't like being stared at by so many people. Luo shook her head. Just as the 2 of them were chatting, someone suddenly landed beside them. It was a middle-aged man who was at Immortality Realm Level 2. I'm the sect leader of the Mysterious Heaven sect, Yi Teng. May I know which sect you are from? The middle-aged man cupped his fist and asked. I don't belong to any sect. Yi Xian was a little surprised. However, he knew the reason why the sect leader of the Mysterious Heaven sect was there. The sect leader of the Mysterious Heaven sect was surprised. If he didn't belong to any sect, it meant that Yi Xian had worked hard to get to where he was. This was a bonus. One had to know that Yi Tian, the son of the sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect, had eaten precious treasures of heaven and earth since he was young. Furthermore, he had the guidance of various experts. It was hard for him not to have a high cultivation base. The surrounding people who were listening attentively were also shocked. It seemed that Yi Xian would have a good place to go in the future. After all, Yi Teng was the leader of the Profound Heaven sect. If he could become his disciple, he would definitely be able to break through to the immortal realm in the future. This little girl is. At this moment, the sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect focused his gaze on Luo. Don't look at me. I'm already 130 years old. Luo suddenly put on a weathered expression. Oh. After the sect master of the Profound Heaven sect heard this, he did not ask further. Some people just like to look young. Don't look at how young a person is. Bonehead might already be a few hundred years old. Take the Yin Yang ancestor for example. He looked like a young man, but he was already more than 800 years old. However, there were not many old people in this area. Broken Sky City only had a history of 200 years. The other 2 sects only had a history of 300 to 400 years. They were not even as old as the Lu family. The sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect finally focused his attention on Yi Xian and said, I wonder if you're willing to become my disciple? As soon as he said this, a huge commotion broke out in the surroundings. As expected, the sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect was here to recruit a disciple. Instantly, countless envious gazes fell on Yi Xian. However, no one expected that Yi Xian would not agree immediately. Let's talk about it after the Longevity Grand Banquet, Yi Xian replied casually. What a joke! Asking him to join the Profound Heaven sect? What an international joke! If these people knew how long it took him to break through to the 8th level of the Nirvana realm from the Manifestation realm, their mouths would definitely open so wide that they could swallow an egg. After the Longevity Grand Banquet? The sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect did not expect Yi Xian to give such an answer. He wanted to say more, but suddenly, another person flew over. Sect leader Yi, let's wait until the Longevity Grand Banquet is over. The person who spoke was an old man. He was the sect leader of the North Wind Mountain and was also at the 2nd level of the Longevity realm. It seemed that he had also taken a liking to Yi Xian. Not only that, but the city lord of Broken Sky City also cast a friendly gaze. All 3 major forces were interested in Yi Xian. Let's wait until the Longevity Grand Banquet is over. Yi Teng snorted coldly and immediately flew back to the Profound Heaven sect's camp. This scene fell into the ears of almost everyone. It was only the first aptitude assessment, and Yi Xian was already taken in by the 3 major forces. It seemed that Yi Xian had made a meteoric rise. Of course, there were also people who guessed Yi Xian's intentions. This was only the first assessment, and there were still a few more to come. They guessed that Yi Xian might become even more popular. When that time came, he would receive even more attention. After joining a force, he would also obtain a higher status. Soon, everyone was done with the assessment, and there were exactly 700 people. Then, the next step was to eliminate the 600 people who were ranked at the bottom, leaving only 100 people. The first 100 people were all above 70 points, and there were even a few who were unlucky enough to score 70 points and were eliminated. They were ranked between 100 and 105. The first 100 have been listed. The rankings are as follows. The City Lord of Broken Sky City began to announce the rankings. The first place was naturally Yi Xian with 95 points, and the second place was Yi Tian of the Profound Heaven Sect with 92 points. As for the third place, it dropped to 89 points. For the second and third round, the City Lord will draw the assessment content. The City Lord of Broken Sky City took out a lot pot. The content of the second and third round of the Longevity Grand Banquet was different every time. Last time it was the sect leader of the Profound Heaven Sect, and the next time it was the sect leader of the North Wind Mountain, so this time it was the City Lord of Broken Sky City. The City Lord of Broken Sky City took out 2 bamboo lots one after another. The second round, the Illusion Array Test. The third round, the Attack Power Test. The City Lord of Broken Sky City announced loudly, "Please come to the stage." The Illusion Array Test was set up by an expert to see who could break the array faster. As for the Attack Power Test, it was needless to say. "Young master, do your best." Luo smiled and transmitted her voice. Yi Xian smiled and also leaped onto the stage. The Illusion Array Test was a common occurrence for him. With the Eye of Revelation, he could see through everything. When all 100 people gathered on the stage, the City Lord of Broken Sky City continued, "Please sit down. When the test begins, the first person to break the illusion will stand up. Breaking the illusion in 1 breath is 99 points, 2 breaths is 98 points, and so on." Yi Xian followed his instructions and sat down. Chapter 1403. As usual, we'll set up the Ichthyosaur Illusory Array. The elder from Beifeng Mountain said, "No problem." The two of them immediately started setting up the illusory array. In less than half a minute, the array was completed. Once one fell into the Ichthyosaur Illusory Array, one would feel like a carp. Only by crossing the Dragon Gate and transforming into a dragon could one be considered to have successfully broken the array. However, it wasn't something that an ordinary person could do. Let the illusory array test begin. As soon as the City Lord of Broken Sky City finished speaking, the two experts activated the Ichthyosaur Illusory Array. In an instant, the hundreds of participants in the field fell into the illusory array. Even Yi Xian was the same. At this moment, Yi Xian didn't use the Eye of Revelation. He saw that he was in the water and there were many fishes swimming around him. He had turned into a carp. His arms, legs, and head had all disappeared. He was now a carp. Other than swimming, he had no other abilities. Even his spiritual sense had disappeared. The array was so advanced that it made people think that they were a carp even though they were sitting cross-legged on the ground with their eyes closed. Although Yi Xian wanted to play with the illusory array, he decided to use the Eye of Revelation to ensure that he didn't make a mistake. However, it was only after 5 breaths. The Eye of Revelation broke all the illusory arrays. After silently counting in his heart, Yi Xian didn't open his eyes and directly stood up from the ground. He had successfully broken the array. This scene caused everyone present to be dumbfounded. In just 5 breaths, Yi Xian had broken the illusory array? How was this possible? One had to know that Yi Tian of the Profound Heaven Sect was still in the illusory array. He was at the 9th level of the Nirvana realm. This kid is either skilled in array formations or his soul strength is stronger than Yi Tian's. Many of the experts thought so in their hearts. Yi Xian had broken the illusory array in 5 breaths, which meant that he had a score of 95 points. He was still ranked first with 95 points in 2 rounds. This was the first time in the history of the Longevity Grand Meet that such a score had appeared. The first round of the Longevity Grand Meet would never change. It was a test of aptitude. There might be some differences in the second round, but there were many who had drawn the illusory array test in the second round. However, this was the first time that a score of 190 points in 2 rounds had appeared. The crowd below the stage, as they recalled the scene when Yi Xian had rejected the sect leader. Sure enough, Yi Xian had a trump card and needed to continue exploding. Yi Xian's the sect leader. The sect leader of the Beifeng Mountain was also the sect leader of the mountain sect. It seemed like they were going to compete. After another 3 breaths of time, the profound heaven sect's Yi Tian finally succeeded in breaking the illusion array. 92 points. In the first round he also had 92 points, and now he still had 92 points. In total, he had 184 points, which was a full 6 points lower than Yi Xian. What? When Yi Tian opened his eyes and stood up, he saw Yi Xian straight back. Yi was Yi Array 1 had to know that in order to get a high score, he had specially asked the formation expert in his sect to set up the ichthyosaur illusory formation and had specially practiced for a period of time. He could cross the dragon gate and break the illusory array within 8 breaths. How could he have expected Yi Xian to be faster than him? That was impossible. 92 points. The Broken Sky City's chief steward glanced at Yi Tian and reported the score. At the same time, he mouthed Yi Xian's score. 95 points? Yi Tian was shocked. He looked at Yi Xian's back with resentment. Yi Xian had stolen his thunder in the first round. Yi Xian had stolen his thunder in the second round. How could he tolerate this? The third round is a test of attack power. I'm at the 9th level of the Nirvana realm, and this kid is only at the 8th level. I'll close the gap in an instant. Yi Tian thought to himself. He had the strength to fight against an Immortality Realm expert. As long as the Immortality Realm expert didn't burn his life force, he could fight them. He didn't believe that he would still be in second place after the third round. Time passed by slowly. Soon, the second round was over. The illusory array wasn't a powerful one. All 100 of them had successfully broken the illusory array. The longest they had taken was 30 breaths, which was 70 points. The Broken Sky City's chief steward added the 2 scores of the participants and reported the last one. Every time he reported Yi Tian's name, Yi Tian's eyes would become filled with resentment. He had always been in first place in the Profound Heaven sect. How could he be in second place this time? The third round is a test of attack power. After the Broken Sky City's chief steward finished speaking, he suddenly took out a giant tortoise shell from his yin and yang ring. This is the tortoise shell of the Profound Spirit Tortoise? Someone recognized it. Nonsense. The second round 2 years ago was also a test of attack power. It was tested using the tortoise shell of the Profound Spirit Tortoise. The tortoise shell of the Profound Spirit Tortoise has been specially refined. I heard that the tortoise shell will emit different colors according to the strength of the attack. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, silver, and gold. If it's gold, it will leave a mark on the tortoise shell. Yi Xian heard about the origin of the tortoise shell from the people around him. It was said that the Profound Spirit Tortoise was an immortal level Tong Tian beast. Its defense was amazing. Even a level 2 immortal level expert might not be able to kill the Profound Spirit Tortoise. Alright, I will determine the score. All of you just have to do is to use your strongest attack. We will start from the 100th place. The Broken Sky City's chief steward said. Then, the participants in the arena retreated to the side while the Broken Sky City's chief steward stood on the other side. He used his manifestation force to support the Profound Spirit Tortoise's shell that was 10 meters tall. Profound Sun Swordplay. The sword in the 100th place's hand suddenly burned and he slashed at the tortoise shell. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The flame attack pierced through the air and accurately hit the Xianling giant turtle's shell. Bang! The flame dissipated. Swoosh. The tortoise shell of the Profound Spirit Tortoise shone. It was blue. The color was a little dark but it was not purple. Hence, it should be between 60 and 70 points. The chief steward of the Castellan mansion looked at it and announced, 67 points. The 100th place had obtained more than 70 points in the first and second round. However, he had obtained 67 points in the attack power test. It was unexpected. Only the top 10 places would be rewarded. The 11th to the 100th place did not receive any rewards. However, some of them were only there to show off. They did not care about the rewards. Then, it was time for the 99th place to start the test. 72 points. The chief steward of the Castellan mansion continued to announce. The participants started the test one by one. Yi Xian, who was at the side of the arena, did not care. Those attacks were too weak for him. Chapter 1404. Not to mention that Wei Zhentian had already broken through to Immortality Stage 1, Yi Xian still had the Divine Sword Bloodline, Immortal Phoenix Bloodline, Matchless Flame Dragon Slash, Killing Intent Explosion and Burning Sky Pill. Even a Stage 1 Immortality Stage expert would not be able to compete with him in terms of attack power, let alone a Nirvana Realm expert. The participants were tested one by one. Soon, it was the turn of the top 10. The top 10 were the elites of the three forces and they were all Stage 9 Nirvana Realm martial artists. 87 points. 87 points. 88 points. The third place was the young governor of Broken Sky City. However, he was 3 years older than Yi Tian and he scored 90 points in one strike. The next one would be Yi Tian from the Mysterious Heaven sect. Humph. Watch me take back the points. Yi Tian snorted in his heart and walked out with his sword. Mysterious Heaven sword skill. Swoosh! A ray of sword light pierced through the air and struck the mysterious spirit tortoise's shell. Crack! A crisp sound was heard. The attack had actually shattered the mysterious spirit tortoise's shell. It was dark gold in color. 96 points. The general manager of Broken Sky City announced. His attack power was 96 points. In addition to the previous score of 184 points, he had a total of 280 points, which was 10 points more than the young governor of Broken Sky City. Currently, Yi Xian had 295 points, which was 190 points. If he wanted to continue to be the first, he would have to score at least 90 points. But those few 8th level Nirvana stage martial artists from before, the highest was only 80 points. Humph. Yi Tian snorted and glanced at Yi Xian. It was as if he was saying, "Trash, if you have the guts, you can try to score 90 points." Yi Xian chose to ignore Yi Tian's stupid stare. Second place is second place. You want to be first? How dare you challenge me? Then, I will let you be second place forever. Number 1. Come out and test. The general manager of Broken Sky City shouted. Yi Xian walked out. In his hand was the Scarlet Flame Sword, a high-grade divine artifact of the 5th step. Just now, he had already calculated the defense of the mysterious spirit giant tortoise, and he was confident that he could break through it. However, piercing through would not be fun. Actually, the surrounding experts weren't too optimistic about Yi Xian. They only felt that Yi Xian was a talent that could be molded. However, Yi Xian was only at the 8th level of the Nirvana realm after all. It would be difficult for him to defeat Yi Tian in the test of offensive strength. If this brat can score 90 points in the attack power test, I'll admit defeat. That might not be the case. Look at how confident he is. He's so handsome, I want to marry him. This was what a passerby beauty said. However, she had already been charmed by Luoluo and could be considered as Luoluo's accomplice. There was an uproar below the arena. At this time, Broken Sky City's chief steward suddenly raised his hand and bellowed, "Silence!" The crowd immediately quieted down. Tisk, tisk. Yi Xian suddenly laughed strangely in his heart, and then directly attacked. Raging Inferno Sword Technique. Swish! A flaming sword chi pierced through the air. This move was a high-grade Nirvana divine ability that he had just copied down, and it happened to be of the fire attribute. Rumble! The sword chi slashed on the turtle shell of the mysterious spirit giant tortoise, and only a crisp sound could be heard. A crack appeared on the turtle shell. Crack! At the same time, there was a dazzling golden light. The entire crowd was silent. A crack appeared, and a golden light bloomed. This was at least 90 points. 91 points. After being stunned for a moment, Broken Sky City's chief steward announced. 91 points. Yi Xian's score. 95, 95, 91. A total of 281 points. Just 1 point higher than the second place Yi Tian. 1 point. Gulp. After hearing this score, Yi Tian's throat suddenly surged with a bitter liquid, but he forcefully suppressed it. No. This is impossible. Yi Tian opened his eyes wide in disbelief. He, who was at the 9th level of the Nirvana realm, actually lost. How was this possible? Not only did he not expect this, but the people around him also felt the same. Compared to everyone else, there were only a few people who thought that Yi Xian would score 90 points. However, Yi Xian had exceeded everyone's expectations and produced a golden light. After 3 rounds of testing, Yi Xian was ranked first. The crimson blood fire was his. This kid is a moldable talent. We must get him. The sect leader of the mysterious heaven sect's eyes flickered. Yi Xian's talent was above Yi Tian's, and he would definitely become the strongest person in the mysterious heaven sect in the future. However, the other two major forces were also eyeing him covetously. The sect leader of the mysterious heaven sect knew that they would definitely not back down. Then, it all depended on Yi Xian. After all, the mysterious heaven sect was the first force to extend an olive branch to Yi Xian. All right, the testing is over. Then, the chief steward of Broken Sky City was about to announce the overall results. However, at this moment, someone suddenly interrupted. Wait! As the voice sounded, everyone's gaze fell on that person. That person was actually Yi Tian. I feel that the attack just now can only be counted as 90 points. Yi Tian suddenly said. As soon as those words came out, the surrounding people felt that Yi Tian was a bit of a sore loser. Almost everyone thought that the Golden Light was a score of 91 people, and the chief steward of Broken Sky City also judged it to be 91. Could it be that Yi Xian had to fight again? This kid. The sect leader of the mysterious heaven sect was a little displeased because Yi Tian actually acted like a sore loser in front of so many people. This was a disgrace to him and the mysterious heaven sect. However, he did not stop him. After all, Yi Tian was his son. He also wanted Yi Tian to get first place because the reward for first place was not cheap. Although Yi Xian's talent was not bad, he did not belong to any sect. Who knew if he would join the Broken Sky City or Mount Beifeng? If the crimson blood fire fell into his hands, wouldn't it be a loss? The chief steward of Broken Sky City glanced at the city lord. He could not make the decision on this matter. If it's 90 points, then his score will be the same as yours, 280 points. However, it's not like it's 90 points just because you said so. As the city lord of Broken Sky City spoke, Yi Xian turned his head to look at Yi Xian and said, "Young man, what do you think?" "Since someone has doubts, then I'll test it again." Yi Xian replied casually. 91 points, yet it was said to be 90 points. He was drunk. Therefore, this time he decided to give 2 or 3 more points. This way, Yi Tian would not have any objections. The attack power test is not very convincing. Why don't we fight? If you win, you'll be first. Yi Tian was a little flustered and exasperated, so he said such brainless words. When the surrounding people heard this, they cursed in their hearts. Chapter 14:05. At this moment, the faces of the people from the Profound Heaven sect were a little red. It was amazing that the eldest senior brother of the Profound Heaven sect could be so thick-skinned. The city lord of Broken Sky City held back his laughter and turned to ask Yi Xian, "What do you think?" This battle was destined to be unfair, but he felt that Yi Xian was not that simple, so he asked this question. When almost everyone thought that Yi Xian would not agree, Yi Xian answered very casually. "It doesn't matter, let's fight." Yi Xian shrugged his shoulders. What? This answer shocked everyone. Yi Xian actually agreed. What kind of joke was this? Yi Xian was the #1 genius of the Profound Heaven sect, a 9th-level Nirvana realm martial artist. Actually, when Yi Tian said that he wanted to challenge Yi Xian, he was already regretting it. However, he didn't expect Yi Xian to actually agree. "You're courting death," Yi Tian shouted in a low voice. "It's not certain who will die in the end." Yi Xian answered confidently. Yi Xian was too lazy to use his Eye of Soul on such a person. It was not worth it. The best way was to teach him a lesson and let him know the immensity of heaven and earth. "Since you agree, then let's fight. Whoever wins will get the Crimson Blood Flame, ranked 84th on the Exceptional Flame list," said the city lord of Broken Sky City. Hearing this, the surrounding testers also jumped out of the ring tactfully. Even the city lord of Broken Sky City did the same. Then, they raised the protective formation around the ring. What's considered winning? At this moment, Yi Xian suddenly asked. "Go ahead, I'll judge later," said the city lord of Broken Sky City. "All right." Yi Xian nodded and slowly walked to the other side with the crimson flame sword in his hand. Everyone in the audience began to hold their breaths in concentration. Yi Xian dared to accept the battle, which meant that he had a certain degree of confidence. After all, ordinary people would not dare to gamble with the Crimson Blood Flame. If Yi Tian won, it would be reasonable. If Yi Xian were to win, Then that would be awesome. Yi Tian, whom the Profound Heavens sect had painstakingly nurtured, couldn't even beat Yi Xian, whom he had worked so hard for. How could he still have the face to live in this world? I don't know where this brat gets his courage from, but he actually dares to accept the challenge. Yi Tian was very unhappy because he was actually looked down upon by Yi Xian. Intolerable. Begin. Seeing that the two of them were almost done with their preparations, Broken Sky City's chief steward also shouted loudly. The battle had begun. One was at the 9th level of the Nirvana realm while the other was at the 8th level of the Nirvana realm. Due to the superiority of their realms, Yi Tian was slightly magnanimous. You're one realm lower than me, so I'll give you 3 moves. No, 5 moves. Yi Tian said generously. I'll give you 10 moves. Yi Xian suddenly retorted. What? Yi Tian suspected that he had misheard. Wasn't this Yi Xian a little too savage? He actually gave him 10 moves. All right, since you're courting death, then don't blame me. Yi Tian's eyes flickered, mixed with a trace of killing intent. Yi Xian's aptitude had already surpassed his. If he were to enter the Profound Heavens sect, then he would be completely suppressed. At that time, who would remember him, Yi Tian? Moreover, in order to prevent the other 2 powers from obtaining the treasure, he had decided to kill Yi Xian. Yi Xian, who possessed the bloodline of the god of slaughter, was very sensitive to killing intent. He had already sensed that Yi Tian had already made a move to kill him. For those who wanted to kill him, Yi Xian didn't care what kind of background they had. All of them would be killed. Die, brat! Yi Tian instantly exploded and fiercely stabbed his sword towards Yi Xian. This attack was the same one he used to attack the mysterious spirit giant tortoise's shell. No one expected Yi Tian to use such a big move right from the start. It seemed like he wanted to instantly kill Yi Xian. This bastard! The city lord of Broken Sky City suddenly sat up straight. He didn't expect Yi Tian to be so bold. Not to mention that both he and the sect leader of the North Wind Mountain thought highly of Yi Xian. Even the sect leader of the Profound Heavens sect wanted to accept Yi Xian as his disciple. However, Yi Tian's attack speed was extremely fast. Even if they were at the 2nd level of the immortality stage, they wouldn't be able to reach the stage in time. This bastard! The sect leader of the Profound Heavens sect shouted in his heart. He knew Yi Tian's attack power. This attack was enough to threaten the immortality stage, not to mention Yi Xian, who was at the 8th level of the Nirvana stage. It seemed like a prodigy was going to fall. Indeed, a prodigy was going to fall, but it definitely wouldn't be Yi Xian. You're not qualified to kill me. Yi Xian's eyes flickered as he directly slashed his sword. Killing intent explosion. Unparalleled flaming dragon slash. Yi Xian didn't need to use the unparalleled flaming dragon slash to deal with Yi Tian, who wasn't even at the immortality stage. A golden flaming dragon swept out and collided with the sword light. Whoosh! The sword light was instantly incinerated by Yi Xian's golden flaming dragon. At the same time, the shocked Yi Tian was also engulfed by the golden flaming dragon. Yi Xian's attack speed was even faster than Yi Tian's. Tin! The sect leader of the Profound Heavens sect, Yi Teng, widened his eyes when he saw this. Not only that, but so did the people around him. Just now, Yi Xian scored 91 points in the attack power test, but Yi Tian scored 95 points in the attack power test. Now, Yi Xian's attack easily defeated Yi Tian's attack. This meant that Yi Xian's attack power had exceeded 95 points and even reached 100 points. 100 points of attack power. This was an attack that could penetrate the mysterious spirit tortoise's shell. How could a mere 8th level Nirvana stage achieve this? Impossible. While everyone was still in shock, the golden flaming dragon had already disappeared without a trace. At the same time, Yi Tian's figure also disappeared. Only Yi Xian was left on the battlefield, along with his interspatial ring and weapons scattered on the ground. This weapon was Yi Tian's. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. A system notification sounded out, representing that Yi Tian had really been insta-killed by Yi Xian. Under everyone's astonished gaze, Yi Xian swiftly swept over and put away the young sect leader of the Profound Heavens sect, Yi Tian's interspatial ring and weapon. Oh, there are quite a lot of things. Yi Xian's lips curled up slightly. He was already used to killing geniuses in an instant. Not to mention a 9th level Nirvana stage martial artist. Even an immortality stage martial artist would not be able to withstand such an attack if they did not burn their life force. Only Yi Xian was left on the battlefield. Everyone below the battlefield was shocked. Instant kill, there was actually an instant kill. Yi Xian deserved to be number one. However, after killing the young sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect, did Yi Xian still want to live? When the sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect saw that his son had turned into ashes, his eyes were instantly filled with tears. He could not care less as he roared and immediately charged into the arena. Oh no! The expressions of the Broken Sky City's governor and the sect leader of the North Wind Mountain changed drastically. One should know that the sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect, Yi Tang, was at immortality stage 2. If he wanted to kill Yi Xian, it would be a piece of cake. Chapter 1406. Yi Tang, have mercy! The governor of Broken Sky City hurriedly shouted. Unfortunately, it was too late. Yi Tang had already made his move. However, before that, Yi Xian had already made his move. I heard that the Crimson Blood Fire was given out by the Profound Heaven sect? Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and suddenly made his move when Yi Tang charged into the arena. Burst of killing intent. Unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash. This attack was much more powerful than the one that killed Yi Tian because Yi Xian had already exchanged for an 8th level Nirvana Realm Burning Sky Pill. Whoosh! Whoosh! The giant golden flaming dragon roared out. Kid, I want you dead! Yi Tang, the sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect, shouted. This time, he attacked with all his might and did not burn his life to increase his vital energy because Yi Xian was only an 8th level Nirvana Realm martial artist. Using all his strength to deal with a junior was already unacceptable. How could he burn his life? However, it was precisely because of this that he suffered a great loss in this confrontation. Rumble! The giant golden flaming dragon and the sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect clashed. After a moment of shock, Yi Xian actually gained the upper hand. The golden flaming dragon attacked the sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect, which shocked him. His attack was actually inferior to Yi Xian's. How was that possible? Bang! The sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect was sent flying and crashed into the defensive formation. However, this was not the end. Whoosh! When the golden flaming dragon dissipated, a golden slash struck out. With a crisp sound, the sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect's left hand was chopped off. There was an interspatial ring on his left hand. The sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect felt pain in his head. This proved that everything was real and not an illusion. He, an Immortality Realm Level 2 expert, had his hand chopped off by a junior. Was this really not an illusion? Everyone present was so shocked that they were speechless. They stood rooted to the ground like statues. Just a moment ago, the sect leader of the Profound Heaven sect, Yi Tang, was prepared to accept Yi Xian as his disciple. But now, Yi Xian had actually chopped off his arm. The contrast was so great that it was hard for everyone to accept. By the time the sect master of the Profound Heaven sect reacted, his severed arm had already fallen into the hands of Yi Xian. Coincidentally, Yi Xian had taken off his interspatial ring. There was indeed a crimson blood fire in the interspatial ring, which was exactly what Yi Xian needed. Ding! The host has devoured the scarlet blood fire. Ding! Host has broken through to the 9th level of the Nirvana stage. Ding! The host has completed the special leveling up mission. The reward is the Immortal Divine Phoenix Bloodline's rebirth from the Ashes advancement once. 3 system notifications sounded in succession. Yi Xian had finally broken through to the 9th level of the Rebirth Realm, and then he swiftly devoured and broke through to the peak of the 9th level of the Rebirth Realm. His strength had increased exponentially. Not bad, rising from the ashes has actually evolved once. Its recovery ability has become even stronger. Yi Xian was very satisfied. Currently, the Immortal Divine Phoenix bloodline was shared with the 3 treasures. Since rising from the ashes had evolved, all 3 treasures would be upgraded. The Scarlet Blood Fire was the reward for the first place of the Longevity Grand Meet. However, since he had instantly killed the second place Yi Tian, he was naturally the first place. Therefore, the Scarlet Blood Fire originally belonged to him. As for the other treasures, they were merely things that he had snatched, so they still belonged to him. At this moment, the sect master of the Profound Heaven sect, Yi Tang, was looking at Yi Xian in shock. He had broken through while fighting? Or could it be that Yi Xian was originally at the 9th level of the Nirvana stage? The aura of the peak of the 9th level of the Nirvana stage. This kid actually suppressed his cultivation level? Outside the arena, the city lord of Broken Sky City and the sect master of Mount Beifeng looked on in shock. However, after thinking about it, they felt that it was not very possible. The first round of the longevity grand meet was to test one's cultivation level and age. Even they could not fake the test crystal, let alone Yi Xian. Moreover, under the watchful eyes of so many powerhouses, it was impossible for Yi Xian to conceal his cultivation level. In other words, Yi Xian had broken through on the spot. However, it was not that easy to break through from the peak of the 8th level of the Nirvana stage to the 9th level of the Nirvana stage, let alone all the way to the peak of the 9th level of the Nirvana stage. Is this kid still human? Many people thought so in their hearts. Sect Master Yi, do you know why I rejected him? Yi Xian said with a smile on his face. Just now, when the sect master of the Profound Heaven sect wanted to take him as a disciple, Yi Xian wanted to wait until after the longevity grand meet. The surrounding people thought that Yi Xian wanted to use this opportunity to gain more attention. Now, it seemed that this was not the case. As an 8th level Nirvana stage martial artist, he injured a 2nd level longevity stage martial artist. Now that he had broken through to the peak of the 9th level of the Nirvana stage, it was hard to say whether the sect master of the Profound Heaven sect could defeat Yi Xian. Take him as a disciple? What a joke! Who exactly are you? The sect master of the Profound Heaven sect shouted in a low voice. It was impossible for someone with such talent to not belong to any sect. Therefore, he guessed that Yi Xian must be from a sect that was stronger than the Profound Heaven sect. Why do you care what I say? Yi Xian could not be bothered to talk nonsense with the sect master. He said, the Crimson Blood Fire is the reward for the first place, so I'll accept it. As for the rest, I'll take it as compensation for offending me. After he finished speaking, he turned around and left. I don't care who you are. Since you dared to kill my son, don't think that you can leave this place alive. The sect master of the Profound Heaven sect said furiously. This time, he was going to do it for real. At the same time, everyone from the Profound Heaven sect took out their weapons and stood on the same side as the sect master of the Profound Heaven sect. If that's the case, I'll slaughter the entire Profound Heaven sect. Come on up if you dare. Yi Xian stopped in his tracks and said coldly. Immediately after, 4 elders from the Profound Heaven sect rushed out from the Profound Heaven sect's camp, including the formation expert who set up the Ichthyosaur illusory formation. 4 of them were at Immortality Realm Level 1 and 1 was at Immortality Realm Level 2. Now, Yi Xian could not escape. Governor. When the Broken Sky City's general manager saw the situation, he could not help but turn to look at the Broken Sky City's governor. Yi Xian seemed to have a strong background. If he died in his Broken Sky City, what if the force behind Yi Xian came to kill him? Let's wait and see. The Broken Sky City's governor said calmly. He felt that Yi Xian would not die so easily. Even if his opponents were 5 powerhouses who were at a higher level than him, Yi Xian did not show any signs of nervousness. It was obvious that he had a trump card. On the other side, the sect master of the North Wind Mountains saw that the Broken Sky City's governor had no intention of making a move, so he did not plan to make a move either. Now that this matter had nothing to do with them, they didn't want to get involved. Kill. As the sect master of the Profound Heaven sect shouted, the few people in the arena made their moves together. At the same time, the sect master of the Profound Heaven sect also charged toward Yi Xian without any hesitation. However, what surprised everyone was that the 4 elders of the Profound Heaven sect were not attacking Yi Xian, but the sect master of the Profound Heaven sect. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The wind suddenly blew. The sect master of the Profound Heaven sect was shocked. He did not expect the 4 elders to attack him. How was this possible? Chapter 1407. Bam, 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 bam. The sect leader of the mysterious Heaven sect spat out a mouthful of blood after being hit by the 4 of them. Fortunately, he had burned his lifespan to block the attack. Otherwise, he would have been a corpse by now. He couldn't figure out why the 4 of them attacked him. But now there was no time to think about this question, because Yi Xian had already killed his way to his back. Eye of Assassination. Mysterious Heaven Sword Technique. Swish! With a crisp sound, the sect leader of the mysterious Heaven sect was suddenly beheaded. The first attack after the Eye of Assassination had a 30% increase in attack power. The mysterious Heaven Sword Technique was a longevity divine ability, so its attack power was not weak. It was very good for close-range assassination. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. In the blink of an eye, the sect leader of the mysterious heaven sect had fallen. When his body fell to the ground with a plop, the rest of the people had yet to react. Some of them were still thinking about why the 4 elders of the mysterious heaven sect would sneak attack the sect leader. The sect leader of the mysterious heaven sect, who was at level 2 of the immortality realm, died just like that? Although Yi Xian didn't lack cultivation resources, what he lacked was the mysterious flame. However, the killing intent of a level 2 immortality realm expert was still very high. Since the other party had come to die, why wouldn't Yi Xian take them? Not only that, but Yi Xian would also take the lives of the 4 elders. Hiss! 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 4 crisp sounds were heard in succession as 4 heads were tossed up one after another. What was even more surprising was that the 4 elders didn't die at the hands of Yi Xian. They committed suicide. Then, their interspatial rings fell into Yi Xian's hands. The good stuff in the interspatial rings was instantly sucked into the devouring space. This time, the mysterious heaven sect only sent 5 immortality realm experts. But now, all of them had fallen. After seeing this, the people from Broken Sky City and Mount Bayfeng couldn't help but tremble. Their strength was similar to the mysterious heaven sect. If it were them this time, perhaps. The young city lord of Broken Sky City also subconsciously swallowed his saliva. This was the first time he felt that 3rd place was pretty good. Just as the entire place was silent, Yi Xian suddenly turned his head and looked at the city lord of Broken Sky City. This made the city lord shudder. Duan Kong City Lord, where did you get this mysterious spirit giant tortoise's shell? Yi Xian could not help but ask. The shell of the Xianling giant turtle? This question fell into the ears of everyone present. They couldn't understand why Yi Xian would ask such a question at such an occasion and at such a time. This is what I got from Turtle Ridge Mountain. The Broken Sky City Lord answered honestly. The Tortoise Ridge Mountain is to the northeast of Broken Sky City. There are many profound spirit giant turtles there. I see. Thank you. Yi Xian cupped his fists in gratitude and then jumped off the stage. Wow, young master, you're so handsome. Seeing Yi Xian coming down, Luo also waved her little fists. Just now, she was ready to rush up to help. However, Yi Xian solved the problem in the blink of an eye. Come, let's go to Turtle Ridge Mountain. Yi Xian said to Luo. There were many profound spirit giant turtles in Turtle Ridge Mountain. This was Yi Xian's target. After breaking through to the peak of the 9th level of the Nirvana realm, Yi Xian knew the name of the last heavenly flame, the Turtle Spirit Earthfire. The Turtle Spirit Earthfire was ranked 81st on the heavenly flame list. It was usually born in the body of a heavenly tortoise. This time, he wanted to go to Turtle Ridge Mountain to see if the Turtle Spirit Earthfire was born in the body of a profound spirit giant turtle. As long as he could obtain the Turtle Spirit Earthfire, he could smoothly break through to the immortality realm. Not only that, Luo and the old tree could also break through one after another. Yi Xian had just obtained the Crimson Blood Fire and he received news of the Turtle Spirit Earthfire. He was considered lucky. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Yi Xian brought Luo and the old tree out of Broken Sky City and headed towards the northeast. At the same time in the mysterious heaven sect. Grand Elder, this is bad. A managing elder of the Jade Tablet of Life Ancestral Hall rushed into a bamboo forest behind the profound heaven sect. Elder Yuan, why are you in such a hurry? A white-robed elder walked out in surprise. The 4 Jade Tablets of Life of the sect leader and the 4 elders have all shattered. The elder in charge of the Jade Tablet of Life reported in horror. What? Hearing this, the white-robed elder opened his eyes wide. The sect leader of the mysterious heaven sect was his grandson. He was at LV2 of the immortality realm. How could he die? Not only that, but the 4 elders who were at LV1 of the immortality realm were also in the same situation. They brought people to Broken Sky City to participate in the Longevity Grand Ceremony. How could they die? The white-robed elder was shocked. At this moment, if Yi Xian was here, he would definitely recognize this white-robed elder. He was the expert who almost captured him that day. At the same time, he was also the escort of the Xianming duo demons. At this moment, the white-robed elder quickly left the mysterious heaven sect and headed towards Broken Sky City. He felt that something had happened in Broken Sky City. Perhaps, The governor's mansion of Broken Sky City and Mount Beifeng joined forces and killed the people of the mysterious Heaven sect. If that was the case, he would definitely teach the people of Broken Sky City and Mount Beifeng a lesson. After half a day, he arrived at the governor's mansion of Broken Sky City. Duan Chong, get out here! The white-robed elder stood in the sky above the governor's mansion and shouted angrily. When he arrived, an elder flew out of the governor's mansion. He was the previous governor of Broken Sky City, the Duan Chong that the white-robed elder mentioned. He was at LV3 of the Immortality Realm. Duan Chong, how dare you? Before the white-robed elder could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Duan Chong. Yuan, look at this scryer recording and you will know. Duan Chong did not say anything and threw a scryer recording crystal over. This was a scryer recording that someone had recorded half a day ago, from the beginning to the end. Yuan took the scryer recording crystal and looked at it in surprise. He did not understand why Duan Chong showed him this, but he understood after watching it for a while. What? It's this guy? Yuan raised his eyebrows. He recognized it. He recognized Yi Xian. This was the guy who had killed his great-grandson Yi Tian and grandson Yi Teng. He was the guy who had killed himself and turned into ashes. At the same time, he was the person that the Xianming duo demons were looking for. Although Yi Xian's face was different, he had used the Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. It was him. The Xianming duo demons had said that Yi Xian was cunning and knew how to disguise himself. However, the only thing that did not change was the Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. After Mo Shui's death, no one else knew the Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. Therefore, Yuan was sure that this was Yi Xian. He did not expect Yi Xian to come knocking on his door and kill the people from the mysterious Heaven sect. Could it be revenge? Yuan could not help but think. Chapter 1408. However, what Yuan did not expect was that Yi Xian did not know that he was the old sect leader of the mysterious Heaven sect. It was purely an accident that he killed Yi Tian, Yi Teng and the 4 elders of the mysterious Heaven sect. The floating image crystal recorded Yi Xian's departure, including when Yi Xian asked the governor about the mysterious spiritual tortoise's shell. Tortoise Mountain. Yuan squinted his eyes, turned around and left. He then entered the underworld of Broken Sky City. The Xianming duo had instructed them to inform the elites in the underworld as soon as there was news about Yi Xian. At that moment, Yi Xian was on his way to Tortoise Mountain. After about a day, he finally arrived at Tortoise Mountain. I heard that there are many immortal-level mysterious spiritual tortoises in Tortoise Mountain. However, as the mysterious spiritual tortoises have a strong defense, it is very difficult to kill them once they hide in their shell. That's why not many people come here. Yi Xian thought to himself. It was rare for him to kill a heaven-reaching beast. Most of the time he would just kill them. However, he had no choice but to do it himself this time. If it was an ordinary person, it would not be easy for them to find the earth fire. However, Yi Xian had the Eye of Revelation. He could see through the mysterious spiritual tortoise's body. Hence, it was not difficult for him to find it. Besides, he had a few helpers, Luo, the old tree and Wei Zhentian who had broken through to immortal level. They immediately entered Tortoise Mountain. Along the way, he saw many mysterious spiritual tortoises. However, most of them were at Nirvana level. However, Yi Xian did not let the mysterious spiritual tortoises go. He killed all of them and kept them in his plant space. Under normal circumstances, the higher the rank of the mysterious spiritual tortoise, the higher the probability of the earth fire being born in its body. Hence, Yi Xian focused on the immortal-level mysterious spiritual tortoises. Found it! In the first hour that Yi Xian entered Tortoise Mountain, he finally saw the first immortal-level mysterious spiritual tortoise. Although the mysterious spiritual tortoise did not have the earth fire in its body, it was still a treasure. The profound spirit giant tortoise was special. Its shell could cover all of its flesh and blood. Once it shrunk into the shell, it would be troublesome. Relying on the Eye of Revelation, Yi Xian was able to see from afar. Killing intent explosion. Mysterious Heaven Sword Art. Swish! A ray of sword light whizzed past and instantly pierced through the head of the mysterious spirit tortoise. Then, it pierced through its entire body. This attack had crushed all the organs in the mysterious spirit tortoise's body, including its heart. Instant kill. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. When the system notification rang out, Yi Xian quickly rushed over and put away the corpse. The heaven-reaching beast's corpse was nothing much. What was valuable was the beast's soul, which was several times more valuable than the corpse. However, right at that moment, ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Another system notification sounded. Yi Xian didn't kill any heaven-reaching beasts, so it must have been Luo Luo and the others who killed it. Luo Luo's ability was not weak. On the other hand, Wei Zhentian and the old tree were immortal. Therefore, Yi Xian didn't have to worry about them taking action on their own. Yi Xian continued to go deeper into the Tortoise Mountain. Since there were so many mysterious spirit tortoises, there should be a king. This king was most likely to be the one that could produce the turtle spirit Earthfire. Yi Xian estimated that the mysterious spirit tortoise king was at least on immortal level 3. After a while, Master, come quickly. I've encountered a level 2 immortal level tortoise. Luo Luo suddenly said. Upon hearing this, Yi Xian immediately rushed over based on his ability to sense the tortoise. A level 2 immortal level mysterious spirit tortoise might have the turtle spirit Earthfire in its body. However, he was overthinking. The mysterious spirit tortoise that Luo Luo encountered, Su Rian, was at level 2 immortal level. However, it did not have the turtle spirit Earthfire in its body. The mysterious spirit tortoise was more than 30 meters long. It was huge like a small mountain. Yi Xian came next to Luo Luo. After observing for a while, he decided to attack. This mysterious spirit tortoise can release shockwaves when it opens its mouth. Be careful. We must kill it before it hides into its shell, Yi Xian said to Luo Luo. All right. Luo Luo nodded. Then, the two of them immediately dashed out. Release of killing intent. Unparalleled flaming dragon slash. Yi Xian had already exchanged for the burning sky pill. He raised his hand and launched his most powerful attack. Although the twin dragon roar of the ice and fire twin dragon sword formation was powerful, Yi Xian no longer used it when the unparalleled flaming dragon slash was upgraded to the unparalleled flaming dragon slash. Firstly, the attack was not as powerful as the unparalleled flaming dragon slash. Moreover, he had to clone himself. The combat power of both him and his clone would be reduced by 60%. A huge golden flame dragon roared out. The mysterious spirit giant tortoise also sensed the danger and opened its bloody mouth. Bang! An invisible force swept out and collided with the golden flaming dragon. Suddenly, there was a strong shockwave. At the same time, Luo Luo increased her speed with the 9 reincarnation flash. 9 reincarnation flash. First flash. 9 reincarnation flash. Second flash. 9 reincarnation flash. Third flash. 9 reincarnation flash. Fourth flash. When it was the fourth flash, the petite Luo Luo had already arrived beside the mysterious spirit tortoise's head. Then, it was the fifth flash of the 9 reincarnation flash. Swish! Before the mysterious spirit tortoise could react, it heard a crisp sound and its neck was almost cut off. Fortunately, it was not killed because of its huge body. Otherwise, its head would have fallen to the ground. It's not powerful enough. Luo Luo was helpless. The 9 flash of reincarnation relied on the sharpness of its movement to attack. However, the profound spirit tortoise relied on its defense. Even if it didn't hide in its shell, its scales and flesh defense were not weak. Although it did not manage to kill the mysterious spirit tortoise, it was enough. Wei Zhentian, who was on level 1 of the immortality level, had turned into a gigantic spike and pierced through the air. Swish! The gigantic spike that Wei Zhentian had turned into pierced through the mysterious spirit tortoise's neck from the wound that Luo Luo had created. Now, the mysterious spirit tortoise could not hide even if it wanted to. Wei Zhentian, well done. Yi Xian complimented. He immediately went around the mysterious spirit tortoise's head and attacked it from the side. Release of killing intent. Unparalleled flaming dragon slash. A gigantic golden flaming dragon struck the mysterious spirit tortoise's head from the side. Although the mysterious spirit tortoise's scales were strong, it could not withstand such a high-temperature flame. In an instant, the mysterious spirit tortoise's scales were burned and blood flowed like a river. Roar! The mysterious spirit tortoise was in pain. It opened its mouth and roared into the sky. It even started to attack with shockwaves. Unfortunately, its head was fixed in place and could not move, so its attacks all missed without exception. Again! Yi Xian's eyes lit up and he continued to attack. Chapter 1409. Release of Killing Intent. Unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash. Another golden dragon struck the profound spirit giant tortoise's head. This time, the tortoise's entire head was burnt to a crisp. Although its scales were strong, its flesh and blood were not strong. Once its scales were broken, the mysterious spirit tortoise would not be far from death. At that moment, the mysterious spirit tortoise's brain was burnt to a crisp. Ding! The killing intent of the host has increased. After the system notification rang out, Xianxia immediately rushed over and kept the mysterious spirit tortoise's body. Although he had yet to break through to immortal level, he could already kill a level 2 immortal level powerhouse. Killing a level 2 immortal level defensive heavenly beast was nothing to him. What he was worried about was whether he could break through the defense of the level 3 mysterious spirit tortoise. If he could not, he would be in trouble. However, at that moment, a figure suddenly arrived at Turtle Ridge Mountain. It was a man in black. He was holding a black sword in his hand. Although he looked like a middle-aged man, he was actually more than 1,000 years old. His name was He Ming. He was a level 3 immortal level assassin in hell. Initially, he had already retired. However, there was a mission that made him waver. Hence, he decided to come back. The mission was to capture Xianxia at Tortoise Mountain. The reward for capturing a level 9 Nirvana level brat is so generous. I have to capture this brat before anyone else does. He Ming said as he rushed into Tortoise Mountain. Coincidentally, there were some footprints at the entrance of Tortoise Mountain. He took a look and chased after Xianxia. The footprints were left by Xianxia. Along the way, he had killed many heavenly beasts. Hence, He Ming was able to catch up with him easily. At that moment, Xianxia did not know that he was in danger. He was still looking for the mysterious spirit tortoise king. Perhaps it was because of the mysterious spirit tortoise, the mysterious spirit tortoise king that he was looking for jumped out on its own. Could it be that the mysterious spirit tortoise king is the mysterious spirit tortoise king's child? Xianxia stared at the mountain-like Xianling turtle king in front of him, and his heart trembled. When one's bloodline reached the immortal realm, its effect would be fully displayed. When its child died, the mysterious spirit turtle king, who was nearby, immediately knew. The profound spirit turtle king was originally in a deep sleep, but after the death of its child, it immediately woke up. It just so happened that the person who killed his child was nearby. Roar! The Xianling turtle king did not say anything. It opened its mouth and blasted a shockwave at Xianxia. Shadow step. Xianxia dodged the shockwave in a flash. This shockwave had the power to destroy the heavens and earth. It could probably split the Bloodrock continent in half. Even if Xianxia was hit, he would be smashed to pieces. The mysterious spirit tortoise king was an immortal realm level 3 Tong Tian beast, which was 3 levels higher than Xianxia. Therefore, even with the Eye of Revelation, Xianxia could not see through it. Therefore, only by killing it, would he know if it had the turtle spirit earth fire in its body. Wei Zhentian, Luo, come on! Xianxia shouted in a low voice and directly attacked. Killing intent explosion. Flaming dragon slash. 9 flashes of reincarnation. Previously, they had come up with a strategy to deal with the mysterious spirit tortoise king. They had used this strategy to kill the mysterious spirit tortoise king's son. Now, the same strategy was used on the mysterious spirit tortoise king. However, they did not know if it would work. The mysterious spirit tortoise king was very angry. It did not dodge and took Xianxia's attack head-on. Rumble! The gigantic golden flaming dragon hit the mysterious spirit tortoise king's head. However, it was blocked by its scales and did not hurt it at all. Now, Xianxia could confirm that the turtle spirit earth fire was in the mysterious spirit tortoise king's body. Even if it was an immortal realm level 3 mysterious spirit tortoise, it would not be able to survive Xianxia's flaming dragon slash. Now that the mysterious spirit tortoise king had blocked the attack, it proved that it was resistant to fire. Therefore, there must be a type of fire in its body. It was not the thousand beast fire but the turtle spirit earth fire. Haha, I've finally found it. I'm going to kill you. Xianxia laughed in his heart. Although the flaming dragon slash could not break through its defense, he still had other methods. Whoosh! The annihilation slash, hidden within the matchless dragon slash, struck the mysterious spirit turtle king's scales. Immediately, the annihilation slash's ability took effect, and a few pieces of the mysterious Spirit Turtle King scales were disintegrated. Although the fire was useless, the destruction slash was useful. Unfortunately, the destruction slash could not be combined with the destruction slash. Otherwise, Yi Xian's attack would be extremely powerful. Reincarnation Flash. Fifth Flash. Luo Luo also attacked the wound. With a slash, the wound was enlarged. Not only that, Wei Zhentian turned into a thin needle and penetrated the mysterious Spirit Tortoise King's body. Ouch! The mysterious Spirit Tortoise King screamed in pain. Although its external defense was strong, its internal defense was not that strong. Wei Zhentian, who was on Immortal Realm Level 1, was enough to destroy it. It seemed like the battle was about to end. Wei Zhentian could transform into many forms. He could turn into a mountain or a thin needle. Since the mysterious Spirit Tortoise King was so huge, it did not notice the thin needle in its body at first. However, as soon as Wei Zhentian entered its body, it suddenly enlarged and turned into a sea urchin and started to jump around. Suddenly, the mysterious Spirit Tortoise King's body was filled with holes and blood flowed out like a river. Without needing to attack, the mysterious Spirit Tortoise King would be killed by Wei Zhentian. Ouch! The mysterious Spirit Tortoise King roared into the sky. Its body trembled, but it could not do anything to Wei Zhentian. However, at this moment, a powerful aura suddenly entered Yi Xian's perception range. Immortal Realm Level 3? Yi Xian raised his eyebrow. He did not expect to see an Immortal Realm Level 3 on Tortoise Mountain. Was this person just passing by, or did he come here specifically for him? Even if he was just passing by, he would not just leave when he saw the mysterious Spirit Tortoise King struggling. I don't care who you are. If you want to die, I don't mind sending you on your way. Yi Xian squinted his eyes. At the same time, he ordered Wei Zhentian to bring the Tortoise Earth Fire out. Soon, the aura of the Immortal Realm Level 3 entered Yi Xian's vision. It was a middle-aged man in a black shirt. Found him. Black Life raised his eyebrow when he saw Yi Xian. According to the mission description, Yi Xian had many tricks up his sleeves. He was also good at disguising himself. At the same time, he might have a sword that could change forms and a little fox girl. Chapter 14:10. Oh. Mysterious Spirit Tortoise King? Black Life raised his eyebrows. He did not expect Yi Xian to be able to injure the mysterious Spirit Tortoise King, who was at Immortal Level 3. After all, he could only barely break through the mysterious Spirit Tortoise King's defense. It seemed like this kid was not that simple. Are you an assassin from the underworld? Yi Xian could not help but ask when he saw the person. According to his previous experience, this person was most likely an assassin as the murderous aura was too strong. That's right. I'm here to capture you. Black Life did not hide anything. If that's the case, why aren't you attacking? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. Immortal Level 3 was 3 realms higher than him. However, when he was at Level 8 Nirvana Realm, didn't he injure the sect leader of the mysterious Heaven sect who was at Level 2 Immortal Level? 3 realms was nothing. On the other hand, if Yi Xian broke through to the Immortal Level, Black Life would not be able to withstand more than 10 or even 5 moves from Yi Xian. To be on the safe side, Yi Xian asked Wei Zhentian to be faster. Black Life glanced at the mysterious Spirit Tortoise King and said, I'm at Immortal Level 3. If I attack a Nirvana Realm Junior like you, it will damage my reputation. I'll give you a chance. If you follow me willingly, I might let you live a better life. He was thinking that if Yi Xian resisted, he would chop off Yi Xian's limbs and take him away. After all, the mission only required him to be alive. There was no rule that stated that he could not be crippled. Cut the crap. Yi Xian interrupted him. Humph. Black Life snorted and said, since you don't know how to cherish this opportunity, then I. Before he could finish his sentence, Wei Zhentian came out of the mysterious Spirit Tortoise King's body. The light from the fire shone on their faces. The turtle earthly fire was ranked 81 on the exceptional fire list. It looked like a tortoise. If Wei Zhentian did not share the immortal phoenix bloodline, it would have been melted by the turtle earthly fire. When the turtle spirit earth fire appeared, even Black Life was shocked. Who would have thought that this Xianling Turtle King would have the turtle spirit earth fire? Not only would he be able to complete the mission, but he would also be able to obtain a Xianling Turtle King's body. Most importantly, he would also be able to obtain a turtle spirit earth fire. What a stroke of luck. However, under Black Ming's greedy eyes, Wei Zhentian sent the turtle spirit earth fire to Yi Xian. Yi Xian slightly curved up his mouth corners and took back the turtle spirit earth fire. I'll give you one more chance. Give me the turtle spirit earth fire, and I'll bring you back to the netherworld in one piece, said Black Life again. Experts had their own pride, and asking him to make a move against a 9th-level rebirth stage junior was truly a slight loss of face. If you want the turtle earth fire, come and get it yourself, said Yi Xian smilingly. The heart of the Xianling Turtle King had already been crushed by Wei Zhentian. In other words, it was already dead and no longer posed a threat to Yi Xian. Now that Yi Xian had obtained the turtle spirit earth fire, he would be able to break through to the immortality stage soon. However, Yi Xian only hid the turtle spirit earth fire in the devouring space and did not intend to devour it. In the eyes of the middle-aged man in black, he was only a 9th-level Nirvana stage martial artist, and there was nothing to be afraid of. However, if he suddenly broke through to the immortality stage, things would be different. Kid, I gave you 2 chances, but you didn't cherish them. Since that's the case, I can only lower myself and attack you. The middle-aged man in black's eyes flickered, and in an instant, his speed exploded. As an assassin, speed was extremely important. However, as Yi Xian's level was too low, he did not need to launch a sneak attack. However, he would never have thought that Yi Xian had been waiting for him to attack all this while. Ding! Host has devoured the turtle spirit earth fire. Ding! Host has broken through to the 1st level of the immortality stage. Ding! Host has completed the special level-up mission. The Eye of Destruction has been upgraded to a passive destruction. These 3 system notifications shocked Yi Xian. The Eye of Destruction had actually been upgraded to a passive destruction. Before the Eye of Destruction, the Eye of Glory had also become a passive glory. When Yi Xian needed to use it, he only needed to activate it. Now, the Eye of Destruction had also become a passive destruction. This meant that his attacks from now on would have the destruction effect. However, this was not the end. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through. Currently at the 2nd level of the immortality stage. Ding! Luo Luo has broken through. Currently at the 1st level of the immortality stage. Ding! Devil Tree Battle Soldier has broken through. Currently at the 1st level of the immortality stage. Previously, Yi Xian's 3 targets had been stuck at the 9th level of the Nirvana stage because of his level. Later on, Wei Zhentian broke through the shackles once and could be upgraded to the 1st level of the immortality stage. Now, as Yi Xian broke through to the immortality stage, this shackle was finally broken. You're dead meat. Yi Xian's eyes flickered as he suddenly attacked. Killing Intent Explosion. Unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash. A huge golden flaming dragon suddenly appeared and roared towards the middle-aged man in black. After receiving the reward, Yi Xian directly activated the Annihilation passive. Now, his true energy had the effect of annihilation. The destruction effect was actually disintegration. It could disintegrate physical body and true qi. This meant that the unparalleled flaming dragon slash was even more powerful. Not only that, after breaking through to the immortality stage, Yi Xian's lifespan increased to 1,000 years. For this attack, he burned 10 years of his lifespan to strengthen his true qi. In addition to the Sword God bloodline, the Immortal Phoenix bloodline, the Burning Sky Pill, and the Turtle Spirit Earthfire, the power of this attack was extraordinary. What? The middle-aged man in black was shocked. He felt the power of this golden flaming dragon. It was very powerful. Even he could not release it. How did Yi Xian master it? However, just as he was shocked, the golden flaming dragon had already swallowed him. Then, a system notification sounded. Ding! The host's killing intent has increased. Instant kill. The immortal level 3 middle-aged man in black was instantly killed by Yi Xian. Of course, this was also the middle-aged man in black's own fault for being careless. Besides, Yi Xian's sudden breakthrough to the immortality stage was also beyond his expectations, which led to this mess. Damn! It's so powerful. It's at least 10 times stronger than before. Yi Xian could not help but swallow his saliva. The destruction effect, coupled with the true qi from burning one's lifespan, caused the middle-aged man in black to die without leaving behind a corpse. Fortunately, Yi Xian had already wrapped the middle-aged man in black's cosmos ring with the all-creation's force when the golden flaming dragon swallowed him. Otherwise, the ring would have been disintegrated. Wow, young master, your strength has improved a lot. Luo floated over from afar and said in shock. Of course. Chapter 14:11. As the middle-aged man in black was an assassin, he did not have many items in his Qian ring. If he died, the items would fall into the hands of others. Even if he hid them, he could not bring them along. Now, Yi Xian had completed 10 specific level-up missions and received 10 rewards in total. It had to be said that this special level-up quest was too awesome. It actually gave Yi Xian 10 rewards. Unfortunately, Immortal level did not trigger any specific level-up mission. Therefore, Yi Xian no longer needed to collect mystical flames to level up. At this moment, Yi Xian glanced at his attribute panel and realized that he had a lifespan of 1,000 years. When had he ever expected to live for 1,000 years? Most people would have hidden diseases in their bodies. However, as he had the immortal phoenix bloodline, his body did not have any problems. Therefore, this 1,000 years was a real 1,000 years, unless he encountered an expert and was killed by them. Just as he was thinking about it, a notification came from the system. Ding! You can exchange 500 years of your lifespan for 1 devouring point. Would you like to do so? Upon hearing this, Yi Xian was stunned. 500 years of my lifespan for 1 devouring point? What the F***CK? 500 years of my lifespan for 1 devouring point? I'm only 25 years old now. 1 year is too long for me. Maybe I'll break through to rebirth level in a year's time. 500 years is nothing to me. Yi Xian suddenly thought of this. 500 years sounded like a long time, but it was nothing to him. After all, he had only been here for 12 years. In 12 years, he had broken through to immortal level. Would he be afraid that he would not have enough lifespan in the future? Exchange! At that moment, Yi Xian used 500 years of his lifespan to exchange for 1 devouring point. In addition to the 1 devouring point from before, he now had 2 devouring points. However, he was only left with slightly more than 500 years of lifespan. Ding! The next exchange requires 1,000 years of lifespan. The notification came again. 500 years of lifespan for the first exchange, 1,000 years for the second exchange, 1,500 years for the third exchange? Or 2,000 years? Yi Xian calculated in his heart. ALV1 immortal level expert had a lifespan of about 1,000 years. Every level up would increase their lifespan by 250 years. In other words, a LV9 immortal level expert would have a lifespan of about 3,000 years. If the third exchange was 1,500 years, then it would be exactly 3,000 years. In other words, Yi Xian could be exchanged for about 3 devour points. In my devouring space, I still have more than 100 years worth of immortal spring water. However, immortal level cultivators occasionally have to burn their lifespan to fight. Yi Xian was a little hesitant. If that was the case, he would have 1,000 years of life when he reached immortal level rank 3. By then, he would be able to redeem some devouring points. The devouring point is very useful. It can strengthen my bloodline. If I break through to the rebirth realm in the future, my lifespan will increase. However, an immortal level requires us to burn our lifespan to fight. Sigh, I don't think my lifespan is enough. Yi Xian was in a dilemma. In the end, he decided not to think about it. He would just take 1 step at a time. After all, he was only on immortal level rank 1. Since he had 2 devour points, Yi Xian planned in his heart where to use these 2 devour points. Forget it. I'll keep them first. If my clone dies again, I can still use them to revive my clone. In the end, Yi Xian decided not to use the 2 devour points. He would keep them first. Now that he had obtained the turtle spirit earthly fire and had broken through to the immortal level, he had to investigate some things. For example, the Shenming duo. Previously, the Lu family had investigated for more than a month, but they did not find anything. However, the old man in white was a clue. Yi Xian estimated that the old man in white was only on immortal level rank 3. Broken Sky City, North Wind Mountain, and Mysterious Heaven Sect. Perhaps he is the patriarch of these 3 organizations. Yi Xian thought to himself. He decided to investigate the 3 organizations that were closest to him. Immediately, he kept the Xianling Turtle King's body. He then broke through the void and returned to Broken Sky City. However, as soon as he returned and was about to inquire about the underworld, His eye of perception detected a familiar aura. It's him! Yi Xian's body trembled as he recognized the aura immediately. This familiar aura belonged to the Xianming duo's escort, the old man in white who had the eye of nature. There is a path to heaven, but you don't want to take it. There is no door to hell, but you barge in. Yi Xian's lips curled up slightly. Nalan Bing still had the death hunting order on her, so he did not have to worry about her. The old man in white was only on immortal level rank 3, so Yi Xian was not afraid of him at all. However, the old man in white was currently a guest in the governor's mansion. There was also an immortal level rank 3 powerhouse and more than 10 immortal level powerhouses in the governor's mansion. Humph, now that I have broken through to immortal level, Luo and the old tree are on immortal level rank 1, and Wei Zhentian is on immortal level rank 2. As long as I ransack the governor's mansion, I should be able to break through to immortal level rank 2. Yi Xian squinted his eyes. After breaking through to immortal level rank 9 from Nirvana, the experience points required to level up had increased tremendously. The treasures that he had saved up previously could not allow him to break through to immortal level rank 2, but with the governor's mansion, it should be enough. He thought to himself as he swaggered into the governor's mansion. His unfamiliar immortal level aura immediately attracted the attention of some people in the governor's mansion. The Broken Sky City's manager immediately rushed over, and when he realized that it was Yi Xian, he was shocked. It's you. The Broken Sky City's manager immediately recognized Yi Xian, but in the next moment, he was controlled by Yi Xian's Eye of Soul. Ding! Control successful. The Broken Sky City's manager was only on immortal level rank 1, and Yi Xian had never failed to control someone of the same level. At this moment, there were 5 immortal level rank 1 auras in the governor's mansion. There were 2 immortal level rank 2 auras, and 2 immortal level rank 3 auras. Initially, there were others who noticed Yi Xian, but the Broken Sky City's manager had already rushed over, and nothing happened, so the others thought that nothing was wrong. Under the Broken Sky City's manager's guidance, Yi Xian controlled all 5 immortal level rank 1 experts, and all their wealth fell into Yi Xian's pocket. If the governor of Broken Sky City is on immortal level rank 2, who's the other immortal level rank 2? Yi Xian suddenly turned his head and asked. It's my father. The Broken Sky City's manager replied. All right, bring me there. Yi Xian nodded. The Broken Sky City's manager's father was the confidant of the Broken Sky City's governor's father. After he retired, he had been guarding the governor's mansion. It had been 100 years, and his realm was on immortal level rank 2.